them for all Salon people and then party them. Sierra Leone Media will be bringing you a variety of programs ranging from documentaries to discussions, interviews, news, views, sports and entertainment. Our programs will contain matters on development, governance, the economy and issues that are of importance to Sierra Leone. So, no left BNO because we get Bebe program then like Salon discussion, meets the ministers, the President's Hour and the Gladi program, Look Me, I Look You. All this they start soon na www.sierragemedia.org. Now who's tem these?
As we talk about burning issues ranging from politics to the economy, culture to sport, education to entertainment, corruption to the environment, we realize the Sierra Leone story is far from finished. So, Sierra Leone Media Production brings you Zoom In. Zooming In is the program that engages everyday people, entrepreneurs, inventors, entertainers, activists, policymakers and politicians to discuss and debate issues relating to Sierra Leone. Zooming In digs deep into the issues and stories. Zooming In ensures the debate is pushed to another level. Zooming In asks those questions that has never been asked before. So, join us to host Chumaba.
When I was young, a lot of things were different. Unfortunately, most of the differences seen now are heartbreaking and are not good at all.
Before now, men were strong protectors of the weak, fathers, brothers, lovers, sons. Their mere presence guaranteed the safety of women and children.
But what do we do now?
Men harassing and raping women.
Men sexually abuse little girls.
Men battering and killing their wives.
Any form of sexual assault, be it rape, sexual abuse, or pedophilia, is a killer to human self-esteem.
Women should stop dying in silence.
Speak now.
The rapist should be stigmatized, not the victim.
I think death sentence should be the consequence of such terrible acts.
And you mothers, build confidence in your children, put trust in them, listen to them when they make reports, and take necessary actions.
Talking of mothers before now, women were virtuous.
They were mothers, daughters, and sisters.
Nurturing, counseling, supporting their men folks.
But now, women are trafficking female children for money. Women are forced to be silenced.
All this must stop, and it must stop now.
Real men do not abuse, rape, or molest women and children. It is barbaric, unacceptable. Let all real men stand with us.
Together, let's say an emphatic no to rape, sexual abuse, pedophilia, and domestic violence.
Of all the crimes committed against a person, rape is the one that leaves the person feeling very violated. A rape victim is often left with the feeling that a part of them has been torn apart.
To use another person's body and ignore the souls that resides within is one of the most outstandingly shocking crimes that one person can commit against another.
Some men harass and rape their women.
Some men sexually abuse underage girls.
Some men beat and kill their wives.
Any form of sexual assault is unacceptable.
There must be consent before you act.
Being in a relationship is not consent.
If they are not sober, they can't consent.
Flirting is not a consent.
We had sex before is not consent.
Silence is not consent.
Only an informed, sober, freely given, ongoing and enthusiastic yes is consent.
Women should stop dying in silence.
A man does not become a real man by physically dominating a woman. A man becomes a real man by loving, protecting, and respecting the woman.
Real men do not rape or abuse women and children.
Let all real men stand with us. And together, let's say no to child abuse, no to domestic violence, no to all forms of rape, be it spousal rape, intimate partner rape, child sex abuse, statutory rape, date rape, serial rape, and gang rape.
We must rise up against this ugly trend.
Justice for one, justice for all.
All sexual assault must stop, and it must stop now.
Hello, my name is Josephine Kamara. I'm the founder of You Can Do It Foundation. You Can Do It Foundation is a charitable organization based in Sierra Leone, West Africa. You Can Do It Foundation has been in existence for the past 2 years. We have been fighting gender-based violence against women and girls within the community. During the past 2 years, we have been offering psychosocial support, counseling, court fee, medical fee, including school items to the survivors of gender-based violence. However, during the lockdown of COVID-19, report received and confirmed that rape cases among a minor has increased tremendously within our community. Because of this, You Can Do It Foundation has secured the land to build an accommodation for the survivors of rape. However, this may almost become impossible without your generous support. We need your help to build this home for the survivors. Your help could be in cash or in kind. If you wish to join us to make a difference in a child's life, please go to our website, which is www.youcandoitcyf.org, or you can go to our GoFundMe page, which is Home of Hope for the survivors of gender-based, or you can contact us with the details at the end of this video. We thank you greatly for your generous support, and thank you once more for making a difference in a child's life.
I was raped multiple times by my aunt's boyfriend when I was 6.
I was repeatedly raped at the age of 8 by a close family member.
I was raped at 19. I didn't speak openly about it because I was ashamed and afraid that people would judge me.
I was raped at age 5 by my caregiver's husband.
On June 17th, 2020, 5-year-old Khadija Sakho, a beautiful little girl from Freetown, Sierra Leone, was repeatedly raped and strangled to death, allegedly by her own cousin. Her death shocked the nation. But in truth, in this small West African country, 9 out of 10 girls experience some form of sexual violence in their lifetime. Think about that for a second. 9 out of 10. That's 90%. My name is Aisha Sasay. I'm a journalist and activist. I'm joining forces with Idris Elba and other activists from across Sierra Leone to support the survivors of sexual violence with the Survivors Solidarity Fund. Please consider donating whatever you can afford. All monies raised will go to 4 local organizations currently providing free medical and legal services to survivors. 5-year-old Khadija lost her life to sexual violence. That same threat remains for millions of others. So this is also a call for you to use your voice, your power, to draw attention to an enduring culture of rape. Together, we must end it now. My name is Aisha Sasay. I am Khadija Sako.
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 We are Khadija Sako.
We are all Khadija Sako.
Hello, Fambulem. Una good evening and good afternoon, good morning and good night, depending on whose partner the world where you find yourself. Welcome to Sierra Media. We Wednesday program where sometimes they can be the big salon debates, but today not the big salon discussion. They discuss something we don't touch we all one way or the other, and we're not part of we history. So now that we can't talk about today, and obviously we get 2 wonderful people that we know to train on this platform. Go join me in this conversation. We say 30 years after the Sierra Leone Civil War. We all know say this year we celebrate with 60th independence anniversary, but at the same time, part of that 60 year day, we witness something or something they don't be part of we way. We ever come out. It's part of our history. So 30 years ago, March 23rd, officially, then say them fire the first bullets na Koindu, we mark the beginning of the war from 1991 to 2002. So I say officially because, there's been reports for weeks or months where then they come, they can't take them fire, but nobody take them serious. Anyway, so we will discuss this issue and everything we surrounding that war and the people that they are so capable, historically, for talk a lot about the war in effect and how today the impact where the war don't create even 30 years after. Of course, again, my co-moderator, Mr. Tiboy Duba, in Sebdenaya. Instead of go join in the conversation. Tiboy, tell Fambula Adu.
Hello, Fambula, Kushe Kabo. Good night, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning. Again, another discussion. Very good for we, yes. Like we can make you always say, Tiboy, not to yes, na yes. So today, na for yes, proper. Because there's a lot of information we panelists and they can share with you now. And we say, with real small experience we'll get, and we also don't realize and see of the 30 years civil war will get in a salon and the impacts of voting it don't create.
All right. Thank you so much, T-Boy. And we will continue the conversation like I start earlier. I say 30 years ago, the reports say war don't begin as alone. That was in March 1991. March 1991, the 23rd of March. So for don't do this program last week, but you know, we not been doing then because other programs have been there. So, but we still say we still there within the 30-year mark. So still for discuss them. The reason why I make it important, like how one of the panelists then can say, look who say you buck your foot, not look who say you for dumb. If you know who say you they go, you for able for know who say you come out. And you go only able for know that where you know your history, the good one, the bad one, the way you like and the way you don't like. We talk about the war. Some of us, I can say, people like us, we're at the bridge between the older generation and the new generation. So we are blessed within a comfortable, you know, a privileged position for able for share and also remind them one the way sometimes don't begin forget small waiting they happen now we country. We two guests them, of course, Yusuf Jallo, the Kowfoot Prince, today with we, and also we get Mr. Winston Ojukutu Macaulay, where we all know the role where he play for make sure say inform people them, document and record and share everything about Sierra Leone during the era, but more so importantly during the war, especially the latter years of the war. If we all be one for Yeri, who that now Winston Ojuku Macaulay will say 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock. Now BBC, we all the engage the Yeri. Some people not been privileged for get radio, but get for run for go to a neighbor or run go up junction for go listen radio for Yeri waiting they happen at salon. So we get them tonight, and I will start with if una permits me with Mr. Macaulay. Winston, welcome to Star Gem Media again, and this important discussion. I'm not going to introduce again, but I just want to let you give me, after you introduce yourself or tell Fambule Adu, let you give me some, you know, small background, at least for put things into context, why important for get this kind of conversation.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity once again for dinner on our platform. And hello, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, this part of the world. I hope this program will meet you well. Mina Winston Ojukutu Macaulay Jr. and from between 1994, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, I was the BBC correspondent in Salon. And apart from before the BBC, I was also, in fact, I was reporting for UPI, United Press International, which is a Washington-based wire service. From there on, I took over from Victor Silva as the BBC correspondent at Freetown. They do both Network Africa with the late Fufana, and of course, Network, and of course, Focus on Africa. Sometimes 3 editions, sometimes 2 editions. But virtually every day I was on air, as Juma say, internet's not been there, WhatsApp not been there, all by the phone, or sorry, na radio. Then I make some people were during the last 2018, 2019 campaign, who work offline, who go society. When they can call me, people like can ask you, where are there? People like ask, how do I know you? I say, well, because I'm living to talk to the nation. So, yes, I got it for there. Unfortunately, unlike other countries in Africa, we go through the war, I would say even including Liberia, despite the economic state of Liberia now, we in Sierra Leone not seems to have learned much. because as we do this program today, there is a heated debate about the right and wrongs of waiting the mayor of Freetown say, waiting no say. And one of the factors about the war was tribalism and nepotism. And basically, that is still blatantly in Sierra Leone. Another issue where we make the war come about was because of poor governance. Then they say APC. But as Mickey always try to correct people, for well over 18 years, it wasn't APC per se. It was a one-party state with both APC and SLPP in covenants in the name of APC. But we had the likes of Saleh Jusuf Sherif, SLPP, as Vice President, Minister of Finance. We had MS Mustafa, we get Dr. Banya, the whole lot of them. SB Mara of blessed memory, my own good friend, the first Chemical Kabbalah. All of these people were SLPP that came in and joined Sheikh Stevens. They had a choice, like the late great Manakpaka of blessed memory as well, where say, no matter which kind of money you give me Pashaka, me, anomics. He was the only one. So it was not an APC kind of thing. It was a one-party APC SLPP. The war came. The war came. It was a brutal war, wretched war. I have a scar actually. This is a pistol. There's a pistol here, 17 stitches. Number 8. I get mark. Number hand, 2 hands and my back, machete. I have a scar. So the war was brutal and basically nasty. And at the end of the day, we had a president that came on board, President Kaba of blessed memory. It tried. Kaba tried. To the extent that he even say, when I left them, made them sing and talk. He better made them sing and talk before them go to bush. Today in Sierra Leone, you cannot talk. Today in Sierra Leone, you cannot sing. If you talk or sing, you are labeled. You are called all kinds of names and even arrested. Yes. And the saddest part of it, you have people, and mostly educated people, who will justify the action of arresting you. So we have learned nothing. We have learned nothing. And some people can talk about Rwanda, they say now an authoritarian government. I would prefer to be in the state Rwanda is than to be in a so-called democracy in Sierra Leone, where you cannot even speak or write. And you are told that you insult the president. And the saddest part of it all is that Pakaba, and let me make one clarification because we get Sierra Leoneans the way quick for Job say, and the APC talk the talk. That is one other problem we'll get back. You there America, especially now they're out. You there America, you there England, you there France, you there Germany. You see politicians, including Britain here, Boris Johnson, that have been journalists and left now as a prime minister. We have people in America who were politicians and wanted to be journalists and journalist politicians. The same go come, but yet still you go sit down there just now begin talk. You say, but the APC talk in the talk. You know, go you refuse to understand what I'm saying because you are so blind to the reality of things in Sierra Leone. And the way you do, you say things bad in Sierra Leone. We are the problem. It is not the politician. We are the problem. How you go there, America or England, for so many years? You left, you go salon and go give you job in a salon. Suddenly, the two you admire in America and England, you don't want to do in a salon. Because of what? Because you have a job. And then when somebody else talk, He said the person APC talk. You are blind to the reality that what you are doing is wrong. That is the problem. We are the problem. It is not the politicians. We are the problem. It is not the party, APC or SLPP. No. Now,
right.
So the reality is we haven't learned anything. We haven't learned anything. We haven't learned anything, Juma.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Macaulay, for that opening day. And I like the honesty. And we will continue the conversation. Let's go to Mr. Yusuf Jallo, the Kowfoot Prince. And I'm sure, instead of getting your memories, possibly good, and lessons learned, and also 30 years on, did we learn anything? Will we make a complete U-turn move for the better, or we still work another slippery slope where we sit on at the time bomb?
Thank you very much. Greetings, all me family them. Una thank you for joining me. First of all, let me just say, thank you to Sierra Gem Media. Thank you to all you wonderful people and we don't join in and contribute all this time. This is a very important subject for every single Sierra Leonean. Apart from those times when we had the probably one of the very first wars then we experienced in Sierra Leone, and historians correct me if I'm right, we had the Baibure, the hot tax war, when Baibure stood up to fight. Now, from my point of view, I want us to look at these two different wars, Baibure's war and our own civil war. There are two main reasons why people fight wars. Two main reasons. Number one is land. Number two is power. So I want you land. I make bio force. You know Anta? You know what, forgive me? You know Sheba? Okay. Now I say I set Konkoroma now for you. I come, I set Palava, we bout, I'm able to defeat you. The next thing I need is power. So how do I get the power? First, okay, how do I get the power? I get the power by writing certain things on paper, on books, to say, this is how you behave, this is what you owe me these taxes, like they did in the Second World War to Germany, First World War to Germany. When Germany was defeated, Germany had to pay a heck of a lot of money to a lot of the powers, and they restricted Germany's army should not fight nowhere, should not go nowhere. They did the same thing for Japan as well. So in other words, they will pass certain laws, certain things to make sure they get power over you. So land is about resources. So we go to war, so I get your land and I take your resources from you. But now, because I want those resources from that land, I pass laws to make sure you work on that land for me, you pay me money, I tax you, and I will pass even laws like in South Africa where I prohibit you to come to certain areas. I have the gold now, I've got everything, but you who's working for me, who have dominated, you do not come close to me whatsoever. Now I have power. These are the two reasons why people fight war. So let's look at Baibure. When Baibure stood up against the British, it was primarily because the British were passing an unjust law. In fact, bullying the indigenous Sierra Leoneans for say, them for pay for hot houses them with them bill. So you want to tell me, you not give me poto, you not can help me bill, you not bill water, nothing. You determine me say for pay tax. You say you want for make road for come. Then you ask me for I pay the tax. No, to hell with you. You want make road, you go dig yourself. Me, not they go pay tax to nobody. So let me ask, what in a tax? When somebody puts tax by you, it tell you say, not till you get this thing anymore. If you do not believe me, try that anywhere you have, you get your own snafriton. Where you get your own snafriton, waiting we all supposed to pay to city council.
not to how they call her?
Council tax.
Kind of, like a council tax, yes, okay. Therefore, then get it. I don't forget the name now, but they know it because myself they pay them na free tongue day. Now you get for pay that. Why? If you not pay them, what's in the city council they can do later on, and they can lock you the month. If you not take them, you can't go inside your own house when you bill. So they put taxes now. So let us think carefully who was Baibure and why it took up for fight. In the side for say, nobody, not the come out for what I would say, come inside my own place and come bully me for say me for pay tax to you. Who that own this land? Now you or me? He stood up. Whichever way the history puts, one thing for certain was that Baibure fought for his land, his resources, his people. Yes, he was exiled, but let me tell you, the English respected Baibure like nobody's business. Baibure not saying sir to no Englishman. This is on records. He not say sir to no Englishman when they fought that word. Okay, eventually he was arrested and then exiled. But when you look at why he fought, even why he gave himself up, Baibure gave himself up after the British begin for burn all the farm them, begin for burn, the places where people, they keep them, food them. So Baibure did the thing a leader does. He made a sacrifice, self-sacrifice for the benefit of his own people. He sacrificed himself and then he was exiled, war done. So instead of his people dying, and what people don't know as well, many people may not know, that Baibure, after he was exiled, 70 of his other followers were hanged publicly. They hanged them Nagalo publicly na Freetown or Sierra Leone. Now why? So that anybody else who want for rebel, then say, hey, look, the one this night they camper you. But whatever way it is, let us, when you examine why Baibure fought that war, it was a war, I would say it was a just war. A fight, a war for protecting people, for provide for people, but more importantly, he fought for self-determination. That's what he fought for. Now, we own war. In we own time, that went on for, they say 10 years. But I'm sure there's many people who will agree with me that this war was longer than 10 years. It started many years before that. One of the major triggers of the war in Sierra Leone started on March 27, 1967. That was one of the key areas, key moments, when Lansana would not agree, would not accept that Sheikh Stephen and the APC had won the election. And of course, boom, went in there, put Shaki on the gunpoint, and the rest, as we say, is a domino effect. And when Shaki came into power, then say, wait, snake don't miss you. Where you see what wrong? You did wrong. Now, many of us know that when Shaki came into power, was voted in, he was voted in under socialist principles or socialist mandates. He had fantastic socialist ideas that people say, low duam, because he was a grassroots man. But when he came, he see the Agbawe Day, he could not trust the army, he could not trust nobody. So of course, he set up his own militia for protecting your neck. But one thing led to another. Then Bangura, then of course, together with Lansana, then by the time you know it, it is no school, no college. Then catastrophe. Then by the time you know it, it is all the other Ahmed Bashtaki and all these other people. Then Mina, and of course, we come into the war. In other words, there is a domino effect. But what was the purpose for this war? Was it worth it? For me, that's my question. When we compare what we fought for, then we look at Baibure. We say what in Baibure fought for. Maybe we'll begin for look, if ever we argue amongst ourselves even about any issues as Sierra Leoneans, we must argue, asking ourselves, what's the point of the argument? Is it worth it? Is it to protect our land? Is it for dignity? Is it for self-preservation? Is it so that we can feed our people? Is it so that we can have self-reliance? Is it so that we can have better education system? Is it so that we can have better medical system? Is this the reason why we are arguing? Or are we just arguing because I want for proof say you're wrong? I want for proof say you're an idiotic person? Is that the reason? Or are we arguing just because I'm afraid make you not prove say not get better sense? Because sometimes when our people argue, they shout. Why? Because when the brain not gets much evidence for back up some claims them, as you challenge, they want for shout. Next thing you know, about they happen.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever the case, I would like to examine our war in light of Baibure's war and what he fought for, and then ask ourselves, was it worth it?
Right.
For me, that's the question I want to ask a lot of our people who are listening and ask themselves, was the war worth it? Was it worth it that we fought this war? That is very important for me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jallo, Yusuf, the Kowfoot Prince. You know they disappoint. Ojukutu, Yusebe bring historical context into this, and you make some comparison for let people open their mind and think deep. And I like the question, was it worth it? And the issue of domino effect, that's what a lot of people fail to talk about when it comes to the war. You know, they'll only talk about, start this step, but what happened that led to that? So it's the same thing where Mr. Winston Ojukutuba Macaulay states as well. Now, recently, with the war, they used the vehicle of tribalism for expand the war. And up until today, whether you like it or you don't like it, it's there. So if you say APC and SLPP, APC then say belong to the North, then say SLPP, then say belong to the South or the Southeast. And when you look at them in terms of ethnic balance, there's no balance there. Any Southside link, now one way. Any Southside link, now the other way. So that thing the way they bring come say, oh, well, they were so they can't start this war because they not be like we Sheki can because Sheki not to be one of we. But up until today, as far as me understand, and Winston go able for guide me, up until today, nobody know whether Sheki now from the southeast he come out or whether now the northwest he come out. You can place him anywhere. And in government, whether you like it or not, it was a broad-based government, a government of what you refer to as a national unity government, because you get people from all over and more. You get key people from the southeast. When a senior government ministers and front bencher, because at that time you get the front bench and back bench. So, but again, on another highlight, then when the war, for me, the sad parts growing up with the hearing this thing, if one no can a salon no go better. We take Ubai this talk to Mr. Macaulay. If one no can a salon no go better. 30 years on, salon don't better because the war be don't come. And we been get war them inside war. Inside that one great war, we been get so many other wars them. I want to hear what you say about that.
Well, you see, the thing is, I like what you say. That you say that say if war no come.
Mm-hmm.
I remember during the war in Sierra Leone when we the reports with the go applying and come and this and that, all my say they want to work on free talk. Yeah, you understand. So it's almost like when people that talk say the war no go come. What past work and a salon. But before I go into that, you bring up another issue in the sense of Shaka Stevens and in government. A lot of the problems the world face in Sierra Leone today, and I will say this deliberately, is because a lot of we don't know the contemporary history, political history of Sierra Leone. You understand? The former Chief Justice Desmond Luke of blessed memory, who died not too long ago.
Yeah.
You know, say people and they will even argue with me on phone on social media, say the man that be SLPP because he be Chief Justice under Pakaba. Now I give a background to Desmond Luke from when it began as APC, ambassador, minister, the only person to date will resign as Shaka Stevens in government. Some people don't even know, say, you get, as you rightly say, as Pasha do, a broad-based government. You get people from the southeast, the Dusu Sharifs of this world, the MS Mustafas from Fobe, you know, the Sama Banyas of this world, a lot of them. Then you go to the north. You get the Bundus, the this, the that from the north, the Baikanus from the north. Then you come western area. Then he deliberately tell them, he say, you know, we get the speaker of the house. We get the mayor of Freetown. Then we get chief justice. He said, we get all it. He said, then three, then the low left for them Afrito. 2 out in rain. He maintained that. When you, like you rightly say, when it came, me, I was privileged. I started working as a journalist, as a Peggy reporter, November 1979. So I have the privilege to have moved around with Pasheki. When you go upline with her, he go sit down, he go observe. The water safe when they put on the table, he not go touch her. But he go know all waiting to go on. Then he go grab, he only walk a stick. Even when I be young, he walk I go, I motoka on a helicopter. The issue of tribalism. To make somebody go come and say under Shaka Stevens. Pakaba of blessed memory, come. A day in a SLPP office now on the street as a reporter. When Pakaba tell SLPP say, I am Prince Adin was Secretary General.
Yes.
He said, I am president of Sierra Leone. I am not president of SLPP.
Mm-hmm.
From between Pakaba and handing over 2007 to present, now in the box up, mix up car. Now that time, I challenge anybody for tell me otherwise. Now that time, a majority of the people left, when they caused the chaos and kata down the saloon, got into politics. Completely coming in as red and green. 90% of the problems we will get now, they derive from people that were coming to salon politics between the end of Pakaba in Tam and Eskoroma and Marabio. Completely ignorant of the past history, or even when they want to talk about the history of Sierra Leone, then they simply say, Shaka Stevens and Poel Salou.
Yeah.
Completely ignorant of the structure. At that time, women, today I'm listening to Nkuma when they overthrown Nkuma. In forgetting completely the structure we've been there in place right across Africa and other countries, including the Caribbean. So, when we come now to the present day and ask, is it worth it? It is not worth it. All the fed we don't fed, all the die we don't, people don't die. People don't die as we speak today. Look, the people that will die in Susan's Bay. If you go down there, you go take a survey. 60 to 70% of them came to Freetown during or after the war.
Right.
And we failed as a nation to repatriate and resettle them.
Right.
And then we will get people them way they challenge you when you talk about repatriation or resettlement. They tell you say now we'll get free talk.
Mm-hmm.
As if you talk say you talk as you na Creole or so as excuse me or something because you're full of a free talk you born. So because predominantly terminal MND. The Limbas, you know, I'm not correct for saying this. One of the most, I know say I will get into trouble when I say this today, but one of the most decent, peaceful tribe of that country. In fact, they are the origins of Sierra Leone. Check the history. I'm sure Mr. Bago go more into that.
Jallo.
Mr. Jallo. You understand? So We have a situation in Sierra Leone today where we have lost. The soul of Sierra Leone is not even bleeding. It is almost like in a state of, when somebody in a ICU, then they try for pump.
Resuscitator, yeah.
Resuscitator. That is the state we are in. I don't want to go into government politics per se, but when you look Sierra Leone, you look Ghana, you look Rwanda, even Guinea, my good people. You ask yourself, you the Sierra Leonean, when they talk about this APC, SLPP, NDC, you ask yourself, genuinely, what is wrong with us? What is, it's so, I read the press release from the SLPP and the APC today. I read the APC I push I pay a car, I said this is also beaucoup talk. I see the SLPP on come out today back, they say now beaucoup talk. You ask yourself, but then people had a lamb book for true.
Mr. Macaulay, you saying that, it just bring me back to the same thing where I go to Yusuf. You don't say, you say, is it worth it? And we got upset when, the outside world described the war as a brutal, senseless war. A brutal, senseless war. But now the same question would they ask myself so unable for answer. People then describe and say, now what is so? It's brutally senseless. Because one, when I begin kill people, you ask person, a long gun you want or a short hand you want? Or short sleeve?
No, wait, Juma, I know the country. Make I tell you.
Yes.
I witnessed firsthand Ferry Junction, Major Tanko.
Right.
When after the January 6th, when I reports the January 6th,
right?
Me reporter, Crystal Johnson of blessed memory, because Brigadier Maxwell Kobise and not for filing the story until they get clearance.
Yeah.
But I cannot reach them. So I give the story to Crystal Johnson of blessed memory for make Reuters, because that's in a while internet not be there today.
Okay.
Crystal Johnson filed a story on Reuters with Clarence Roy Macaulay AP. Within 10 minutes of Reuters and AP putting that story out, Robin White was on the phone with me, reporting live, two-way. Waiting a live two-way. You don't get them for rights. You don't get them for things. You have to report instantly. I reported that I went there and I saw the emails. They were advancing up the hill. They're coming to Freetown. Waiting happened. Then Camp Freetown, I witnessed after they don't push them back, Ferry Junction. Then the two-line for go stadium.
Yeah.
People in two-line at Ferry Junction. The main Ferry Junction. Where they can go PWD, they can go down Ferry, come on Kisi, or they go Freetown. That's T Junction. Which is F Junction. This woman just came out from the queue and came to we. We team up, we did by the jeep. Me, Major Tanko, in guards and whatnot. They begin cry. They say that Monday, na he raped me. That Monday, na he raped me. He begin Allah, he cry. The man was well dressed. The man saying a lie in a school teacher. Now the woman called him Pekin, a small boy. Now the boy say yes, na in Kana we owe. Small boy, na in Kana owe. You know talk say, then the man rape him, mama, he say yes, na in Kana we owe. The mommy they like, he raped me. Major Tanko and I, between two bodyguard them, we there, the crowd don't surround we. People in advance towards this man. The woman, the other, and I rape me. People are traumatized, then afraid. They don't dislocate everybody. You know what happened? Major Tanko pulling pistol right in front of me. Oh, put under my head. Bam, bam. I saw that with my own eye.
Yeah.
When we go back, even 10, around 10 o'clock in the night, now ask her, I'm going to do my story for the next day for Network Africa. I said, why, Nick, you kill that man? He said, if I not been kill that man, the crowd would have overcome all of us, and you could have been a dead man because the crowd was angry. Then they came towards the man, and you don't know what could have happened when the soldier man will react. Whose side the bullet could go, whose side the bullet not go. So it was a senseless and brutal war. Yeah. And to this day, with political class, I described them the other day, the local BBC program as delinquent, selfish people. And they are the whole bunch, APC, SLP, PNGs. We have a situation where we have to wake up Sierra Leone. The people there, where they call as we leaders, have failed us. They have forgotten about the war. Yeah. They have forgotten about Baibure. Yes, na Kafubura na me execute them, Mr. Jallo. Na Kafubura na me execute them. If you call a British Museum, the itinerary. I don't know if they call Kafumbulo that change. I don't forget, but I read it. It is a Kafumbulo. Because, say, Lunge and all that part was all part of... well, Frita was part of Putloko at one time. In fact, if you look really, Frita was part of Putloko. So we have forgotten... we politician them. Don't forget about Baibure. In fact, they don't even know about the war what happened. Now, I make to this day, we get the incident will happen at Pademba Road prison. Yeah. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest with us. Look, the other day they show a party election somewhere in West SFPP party election. Then chop somebody in aid. I don't know if you're see on social media. Yeah. Then, for what? And then we still have educated idiots where they tell you, "Shame me na SFPP, me na APC."
Right. Well, thank you, Mr. Macaulay. We did talk, I get goosebumps because
I know.
I just want for let people understand. Say some of we witnessed the war from start to finish at all levels, and possibly would have been victims carelessly. And some of the things that we neglect today. Where they hate you compete because you not see the same side, or because you get disagreement, you decide for use something else for let that person lost in life. We saw a lot of that, and me being for being victim. Mr. Jallo, the same question to you: the brutal, senseless war. And so a lot of people describe them, where on record cost we over 50,000 lives. That's not the way they're able for estimate where they put down. We know today you have whole generations, families, we're able for account for their whole household. But we're still here. The same things that will be happen. Is it worth it? And for you, was that a brutal, senseless war? And are we still leading towards that brutal and senselessness now, Salome?
Thank you so much for this, for just listening to you, Mr. Ojukwu. Like I said, it's harrowing when we think about this. And one thing for certain, now that the country of Sierra Leone is in trauma. Now, I'm not saying a big English word, so plenty of people are not going to understand what when they say trauma. In other words, it's like you say we depan lao, if not the best word in the world we use. We ate depan lao. And when you ate depan lao, you don't know whether you go, you don't know whether you come. So we're in that kind of space. But I just want to draw attention to a few things and taking from within Mr. Ojukwu just don't point out, and what you also talk about it being very senseless. And when we check the TRC report, one of the major causes of the war in Sierra Leone was based around the court system. In other words, justice or injustice. That was put as one of the major things. So today as Sierra Leoneans, we do have to ask ourselves the questions. You see, without justice, I remember Peter Tosh saying, everyone is crying out for peace, yeah. None is crying out for justice. But I don't want no peace, yeah. All I want equal rights and justice. You know, we sing, then they bow. I'm not free to say plenty of people understand just the depth of that particular song day. I don't want peace, justice. I don't want somebody for love me. Give me justice. So today in Sierra Leone, we're going to ask ourselves, do we have justice? Okay, with everything, you know, if I ask Kuna Sierra Leoneans, we all know this. Where would the old Aujo? Anybody will understand African culture, where you all Aujo, what's the very first thing you do as an African person traditionally? What's that the first thing? I know, say Mr. Ojukwu, you must know that one there as well. What are the first thing we will do?
They call your ancestors there.
Precisely. Thank you.
Water.
You did Tue Water. You call the ancestors. Why do we do that?
With cola.
With cola. Even every new year, we'll go to grave, not so. We'll go to grave day, the good and good day, or they will go there, we'll say we wake the ancestors, then we did it back. Why? Well, if we answer that question, if we look the one they were a Christian, then still they call Jesus, we don't go over 2,000 years ago. This one they were a Muslim, they do the same thing, they go call Muhammad. Yet, in calling all of these, for whatever religious faith people might be, that's not my issue whatsoever. We know they sit down and think about, what about we own ancestors? Bang, bang, bang. Because why? Because Jesus made sacrifice, what do? We give offerings of gratitude and thanksgiving. Then do the same for Muhammad. What about our own? Why we not pay no offerings of thanksgiving and gratitude for those who have sacrificed for us? Again, we can go back to Baibure and before. So, if we begin for name people and we don't sacrifice, then they in the thousands and thousands. So we ask ourselves today, for the people them we brutally died, killed senselessly. Let us say, as they say when the fighting against apartheid was going on in South Africa, there was a saying that says the tree of freedom is watered with blood. That was the common saying. So let us say for Sierra Leone, the tree for freedom, the tree for make we get affordable housing, the tree for make we build 10,000 hospitals with the latest equipment in it for many people. Let us say the tree for the most wonderful education system, modernize, that tree. Let us talk about the tree of social justice, the tree that our women are protected and not being raped left, right, and center, and abused left, right, and center. Let us say the tree for even our military, for them to live in a better barracks than the one they live in now. Now, let us say that the tree for all of those was watered with the blood of the people who were killed senselessly during the war.
Right.
Many people are around right now who were babies when their hands were chopped off and legs chopped off. Those who saw their mothers killed, they were babies at that time. Now they're grown up, they're adults now. They're asking this question, was it worth it that my hand was cut off? Do I have the justice that I deserve? Is our law courts any better? Is our parliament operating any better? Do we have a president today that I can guarantee will speak up for the integrity of our nation? Do we have ministers in place that will stand up and that if there's anything, they will be the first to sacrifice themselves? Do we have that? Our education system, you know, all of that. Was it worth it that these people have shed their blood? Now, like Mr. Ojukwu is saying, my dad, many people don't know this. Few people know, but many people don't know. My dad, head of the military police, Major Aruna Jallo. Boom, NPRC. Saj Musa, all of them, all, you know, including our current president. He was part of the NPRC. Now, they went, took my dad from our home after they've put him on dismissal, took him from home at Moritown with a towel around his waist. And that was the last we saw of our dad. And he was gone. Now, after they had killed them on December 28th to 29th, 1992, the NPRC came out and said that they have foiled a coup plot. My dad was the one who was leading the coup plot, according to the press reports and all this stuff that I still have with me here. Said my dad was head of the coup plot, and my dad had been killed together with some other guys, a guy called Scorpion, that had been killed at a shootout at Kabasa Lodge. And that, you know, basically, you know, so this coup had been foiled and the people have been arrested and summarily executed. But they said that my dad was killed at Kabasa Lodge. When I know they took my dad from our house while he was sitting down at night relaxing. It took us 25 years to find at King Tom Cemetery where the bodies were dumped that night. They killed my dad and two of my uncles that same night, together with many others. And they said there was 27 people killed. I know it was not 27 people. It was over 50 people killed that night. Now, what's happened is, and Mr. Ojukwu, you'll prove me right or wrong on this one, was that when the press took these stories, I have loads of press reports here that were fictitious and lies and all this stuff, even going on air. I remember the spokesperson at that time was Karifa Kagbo. He went on air saying they have evidence that could stand in any courts of law to prove that my parents, my dad, and many others, including Babe Kamara and all these people, had plotted a coup to overthrow the government, and they had been summarily tried in one night and executed all in the same night. Now that's my story, and my story, I'm very lucky that I am here. So abroad, so I can look after my family. But what about those who did not have the privileges I have had to look after my family? Was it worth it? So if I say my father's blood was sacrifice, what are the offerings today that when we look at Sierra Leone, we can say, look at this, look at that, look at that, look at that, all those blood. When the government went and they said, is it Bintumani 3? Yes, Bintumani. Is it Bintumani 2 or Bintumani 3? I'm confused now which is which.
But the recent one or the one before that?
Yeah, the recent one. Is it 3?
Yeah, Bintumani 3.
Right. So they had Bintumani 3. And I remember watching it and listening to it with all the harangue that was going on. And I asked myself, I said, Bo una wait back. How una they can do Bintumani 3, una say na for bring coalition, for bring everybody together. But una know the honor. Then one them way they don't kill, way some way they not power right now. Bim they part of wouldn't kill. How? Me think that, and I speak from a personal view now, okay? Me think, if there's ever a government and a leader way for being there for help for unite we country right now, that's what I think would have been this particular leadership that we got right now. Why? Because of me trust at that time for say, brah, you know all waiting to happen in our country. If anything, come in, then you can solve the problem now. And people like me, I would have been willing to be there to work with for say, let's get this thing done for the sake of our country. But let me look at the whole country. One grain grabble self no day would they put down in honor of all those people who suffered and died. All the families, one grabble self will not put them. We'll go say this is not the monuments. Look, put this one for all the one the way we did not kill. We don't have that. And we're talking of Bintumani 3. Those blood, those ancestors go hunt with. Make we not take this for granted, because our struggle in Sierra Leone is as spiritual as it is physical and mental. It is just as real as that. We cannot ignore this as a nation. As a nation, we have to take this into consideration if we are to heal and say, all right, those lives are gone. So for me, gratitude and thanksgiving is important in order for being to achieve justice. This is why cases are happening in court and nobody bats an eyelid. Leadership don't seem to even care about it. So I see the same thing play when people are killed at Pademba Road. And up till today, if we ask, who said them beg them body then they? Who were they? What are their names them? What's the list? Don't those souls, don't those lives deserve to be honored? Don't they? So to me, it's just equivalent to the people them way, sorry, Mr. Ojuku, but like where they talk about the chapter you eat, the chapter you earn. Then people wouldn't just on chapter social media, wouldn't show it on social media under the election. The same thing is going on. Just like Mr. Ojuku say, we have not learned. But until we learn the principles of sacrifice and offering, we're not going nowhere. And we got to come together for put a monument in recognition of the people who've lost their lives. That's the first thing we need to do. England, they do them. England don't do them every year. For heaven's sake, Sierra Leone, we come out for Poppy Parade. For war, we're not of business at all. We come out. Why don't we come out for our own? And put money and put a monument, for heaven's sake. If we current president, they put $10,000 for give footballers there, maybe we could do the same thing for solve these problems. Or maybe they're not seeing it. I don't know. I hope they are watching this. I hope somebody take this audio and make it, because this is what makes sense. The souls of the dead cannot be ignored. Ask any developed nation, whether it is India, the Jews, whether it is Germany, you ask all over. There is not a single day when you will not watch something on television in England or in Europe here that has to do with the Second World War and what the Jews went through and what Hitler did. There's not a day. So are their lives better than the lives of our people who were lost during our war? I do not think so. So, as I can always say, know yourself, not of course, not good advice. As Sierra Leoneans, who are we? Are we worthless? Really? What is it are we prepared to fight and die for or protect as a nation? Is it our children? Is it our bundukali? Is it our matoma? Is it our bonga fish? Na kinjimi? Is it our sea? We now the sea just to go to Chinese, because until we get to this, it's going to be very, 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 very difficult. So, was it worth it?
Thank you so much, Yusuf, and thank you for sharing your story. First time hearing it, and I'm speechless. And I'm sorry.
It's look, Brother Juma, for me, I want to
rest in peace.
Thank you, Brother Juma. I want to say this though.
Yeah.
I speak this passionately, and I'm sure there are thousands of people who have harrowing stories.
Exactly.
More than mine. You understand me? So for me, all it is, look, it took me 25 years to finally find where the bodies were thrown in Kingdom. 25 years.
Yeah.
Now, there are many people who do not have this privilege.
Right.
And there's many people who've not gone through healing. So I've made a film about it to resolve the issue. And this is what the leaders that are in power, even now, and probably even before, that they not seem to be getting. That there are so many people going through traumas, and they're finding ways to deal with this. They're finding ways to deal with this story. How do they make sense of it? And it's important, if we're going to have young people tomorrow to lead the country, these young people need healing. They need a proper narrative.
Thank you. So you story where you share with me now the story of many other Yusufu Jalo them where they out here and that we know.
Yeah.
But you cannot downplay the seriousness of it, because whose harrowing story passed for lost somebody where you love, when are your idol, your role model, somebody just can wake him and take him with towel and go. But that's not the point. But you make up so much stories for justify what you do to another person in family. The point where they try for is, we keep hearing from people within a position of trust. Now they hear from most times, or you're not patriotic. But within a patriotism, if after all waiting don't happen, we still get, like I mentioned, Paremba would shooting. You're going to shoot mass, open fire and shoot people on a day where people go able for remember, say, that same day, now in this same group of people where killed most of them people, and then at that same time they say they take power for can liberate the suffering masses. But few months later, they killed a whole lot. And those people now in, civilian clothes do the same thing without even explaining, like you say, where them people then, they get family members. They were prisoners, some for crimes they committed, some for not, because you remember you talk about the justice system. So then they from where they go pick them, because if they sleep na market table, nanet, a homeless, then take and go put on a remand, and not ever go court. They open, then shoot people, then kill them. Not a word from the government for explain to people. They keep making up stories. So 30, they will not even know the countless number of people will die. And not a war. You cannot justify going there and killing people. So what does it worth? What's in a human life worth in Sierra Leone?
Juma, can I butt in here? I mean, I just want to say
yeah,
this.
Go ahead.
I want for you to again just go on the word way again. Mr. Juku said, talk of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Look, the soldiers are just as traumatized as the police.
Mm-hmm.
Are just traumatized as some of those people who are in law courts. Just as traumatized as some of the mamide where they sell na market.
Yeah.
Just as traumatized as many who are in politics. Many who are there in politics are traumatized due to lacking, poverty, because plenty na be adopt man or adopt woman within the England. Then when they go back, yes, when they go back, that trauma. When you see something where if you were in scarcity and then you go in abundance, you decrease. It literally drives you insane.
Yeah. You're
doing somersault. So there's trauma going on. And we need to address this. Not a one-grain psychiatric doctor will be getting a Sierra Wait, now, don't forget the man in him now. Yes, Dr. Naim walked right past retirement, walking right through. This is serious. We are a nation, we're traumatized. I don't care. Somebody can say, it's like this man will go to the dentist. He say, the complaint about his teeth. He say, dentist, my teeth there. Now the dentist say, he say, oh yeah. He say, okay, Lido. He say, I'm not saying you find and different your teeth there. I tell Lido, open your mouth. I didn't open your mouth. The dentist look inside. I say, brah. He say, your teeth, they're all fine. He say, now you gum, now you need for commot. That's the situation with Sierra Leone. The people are walking around, but the brain has problem. The spirit, the soul has problem. They drive around in big cars, but the system doesn't work to fix those cars. Isn't that madness?
Right.
You have the big houses, but you don't have water to go to these houses. Is that not madness? You have, you say you've got young people and they want to take over tomorrow, but you do not lay the necessary foundation for these young people to prosper. You don't allow them to ask questions. Is that not madness? Now, I know the words I'm using may be very strong for some people right now, but the fact remains that we are still traumatized. And we cannot disguise this. We can try for as much. In fact, the more we disguise, the more we are passing the problem to the next generation and to the next generation. But we have to solve it. We have to solve it.
That leads me to T-Boy. Are you there, T-Boy?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. So, when we discussed the topic, you highlighted something and we related to it in Yusuf talk. So the scars of the war, the waiting left Giwi, waiting we inherit from the war. And you in particular, you wanted to talk about, not to the war, the fate and the kill and the gun, but waiting left with me. We get so many young people today, like where Yusuf and Mr. Ojukutu say, some people born inside the war.
Yeah.
Some not even know that Kotian. Some not even know who that make it be orphan today. Some not even know who that make it end up be a drug addict. Some not even able for know who that lead them for be thief man today. So you highlighted some of those things and go ahead. I don't know whether you've been there at Tongue during the war, Salon or Freetown or Sierra Leone or Freetown in particular during the war.
Well, I've not been the Salon where the war reached Freetown, but I've been in Salon where the war starts now Bomaru when I've been Kailaon chiefdom according to what they say. Then according to close to Liberia border. But when we decide for say we do this program, I really wasn't too sure whether it is the right time, and I realized it is the right time because at the end of the day, Salon don't take 30 years now after the war, but we're not able to measure how long the war lasts for because the actual fact is we're still not able to get 100% clearance the war lasts for 5, 10, 15, or 20 years. But what did me find out over the years of all what happened at Salon and with the current situation is scary. But again, when I put it into perspective, I therefore think twice and possibly not feel scared because it is the reality of the gruesome war we will go through. For example, we don't say the war was senseless. When a fact, we international observers, they also highlight, say, we fought a senseless and brutal war. The reason why I say it is fact, and I strongly believe in that sort of statement, now because of few things that I can highlight. One, cutting of limbs, legs, and all that stuff was brutal. It wasn't sensible at all. We don't know the reason why they were doing that. Two, there was an operation called Operation Fine Girl, where again, we don't know what was the reason behind Operation Fine Girl. But I just want to talk specifically on Operation Fine Girl, for just emphasize the brutal and baseless war we will fight in Salon for over years. Operation Fine Girl, they say, whether you go find the most pretty girl where they are around, or any woman where you come across, you for make sure say you bring them. And then when they all come, they begin sort them out. Old, young, peking, teenagers, and babies. Women specifically. I just want to highlight this because people are not fail for understand the amount of trauma where women then go through during this war. And if you're not a woman, you go get for sit down back and think. Not that you were in that position, but just put yourself in that position. Just for 5 minutes, close your eyes and just imagine, say, this was you at that particular time when they say Operation Fine Girl. It means any woman will fall victim. And guess what? 70% of the young girls then within Sierra Leone, and they talk about Freetown, within Sierra Leone, fall victim at some point during the rebel war, either by rebels or by the military or by just civilians or by people that they know that knows them. So take that into consideration. 40% of these girls were raped, brutally raped, violently raped, and possibly sometimes left to die.
Yeah.
25 or 30% of these girls were virgins, meaning they don't have no sense of what's in a mama and papa business. Sex is not in their brain in any way, shape, or form whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And then more than a handful of these girls have babies after that. Whether they begin and die now, they survive, they not survive. Nobody knows. Statistics were not gathered. These kids were not traced. They don't know where they are. None of their whereabouts can be identified. And guess what? It's 30 years ago. 30 years ago. Now imagine a child being raped by a rebel, for example, a child being raped violently, aggressively by maybe a military officer. Imagine a child being raped by somebody we know him very well. Just take advantage because this is the norm at that particular point in time, and that picking, they born picking.
And T-Boy, some of them gang raped.
Well, when I say brutal rapes, is extreme. It means they will actually queue on a girl who is just maybe 12 years old. Queue on a girl. So basically, if you don't born that picking day, and that picking day no old 35, 40 years now, will you be surprised if the country day in the kind of state where it is right now? I will not be surprised because guess what? There is a lot of trauma, either via that picking day, and that picking day go down born in your picking and away in your trauma where in be don't deal with as a child, as a raped victim child, enable for deal with them. Then in unborn picking them, which kind of lesson is they teaching picking them, we don't even know. So we have 2 generations of our population we're traumatized right now. We will not even think about. All we care about now the basic necessity, the normal we will get for care about light, water, roads, food. Yes, they are all important. But we have 2 lost generations. One, now the generation during the war. 2, the generation after the war.
Right.
But the good thing is, the generation after the 30 years of the Civil War, the one that we don't born picking out, so they're not going to have 3 generations. The new generation fall in an atmosphere where very accommodative, we make they not go get that kind of indoctrination with the second generation and before they get. We're at the technological world we live on right now.
Right.
So if you watch the dynamics of Salon, we don't need to begin to ask question, who side the problem come on. We haven't dealt with the trauma of the Civil War we're getting us along for more than 20 years. And 30 years after, we still haven't dealt with it. It is 50 years gone, like a joke, you know?
Right.
Because we don't even know exactly what's in the timeline of all what they say so. Historians, they give us timeline. So 30 years plus 10 years of civil war is about 40 years.
Right.
So what happened?
Watch the chat group. Very interesting conversation. Some people actually afraid with the issues, some the hearsay, some the emotions, but it's all important. The things that we highlight, so T-Boy, I can relate. My own experience with the war. I work with perpetrators. I work with victims. I work with strategic stakeholders. I work with the compromised behind the scenes where these are the stories you'll never ever hear. I was fortunate, to work with all those people. I actually help for train the military where they say, now the restructured military. And where Yusuf say, the military then traumatized, I agree with you 100% because when we be trained there, mostly I was lead, trainer on child protection and human rights issues. One of the things where we find out during the training, it was ignorance. Most of them, the things that were them to do, they had no clue that it was bad, even, for task force. Because just like how we get today in people of position of trust, where opportunities come, now they normally go to workshop them, now then they get the in-service trainings, but in order to trickle down for train people, them say this is bad. From that way, then come out Bengrima, where them pass out. That's the end of their training. They not ever show them anything else. I'll tell you this, when we did case studies with the military people, we highlight scenarios them. You they see that they justify to you why make them they abduct people picking them, and even the girl picking the like boy they say. For them they say it was protection, protecting these kids. But then we twist the stories, asking them, like a way that you go war front so you left your wife and you picking them. Then somebody can take them for carry them go protect them the way you protect other people then. What do you consider that to be? The class will be silent na Benguima for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, nobody will talk. All you go see past people begin cry, say, we not be no say na bad thing will be they do. I worked with those kids, then girl picking and the way T-Boy they refer to so. I actually, led the initiative for the first way to be referred to as Child Mothers Program for the picking the way they rape, where they're able for rescue. But these kids will not be able to settle back in their communities because now they're faced with two problems. Then family members, then they afraid them because the family members, then they afraid say the community go react. Say, oh, you picking a be rebel. They not they see them as victims. Then they see them saying, I've been rebelling with, it don't come, they come for can kill. We know families that were banished in their communities because them picking and have been victims. So a lot of trickle down effect with 30 day in their factory. But like how you highlight your own issue, Yusuf, two memories I get. We not go ever come on when I'm my own trauma. One of them now, a 10-year-old girl picking, where I see, we come for help in one of the, sister organizations that we will be collaborate with. A 10-year-old girl, at the time where I see him. So, but what happened and don't happen few years back. I watch him, I look at him, I say, hey, what's he do here? I talk to the Peking, but it's Sidom, I look white. Where I ask, what's happen? In Guardian say, rebel the all the Peking, the light plastic bag, they open in two them and drop them inside it. So the reason I make a mention that today we may come across that woman, because this I talk about something that happened years and years ago. Now, possibly, if she's still alive, now big woman, it go to beg na cutting tree. It go to run after you motoka. Then you go to curse am saying an idle and dirty person. That's one. The other one, this was close to me. The person where one of the people that we actually travel with out of Sierra Leone for constructive surgery in the UK. He was a 10-year-old boy as well, but that happened to him a few years back. The rebel, they Olam, then abduct, then go to the village, then catch him in and mama and everybody where they then bring them calm. Then light banda. No banda, for the people who know say with that banda. Grill or barbecue grill. So they light the banda.
Banda dry fish, make you understand well.
Okay, banda, where then they dry fish with.
Dry fish.
So they light this banda, then take this bobo, then tie him foot and tie him, and put him on the banda. Like a fish or beef. Then they ask him, mama, let it sing and dance. I am not making this up because I had to take him to the UK for constructive surgery. He passed away a few years later because of other medical conditions, you know, after in surgery. Because he had been full, so if he been grow up, the bone for the grow, you know, you're not able to take them. And these people always, they wear socks at the time because they laugh and face all get scar, all of those things. That would have been your child, somebody else's child. The reason we make they say then here, so bring in these case studies, and I'm sure Mr. Macaulay gets a whole lot we go can share with me based on a report. The reason why I make it important for the people where things say we for biotic problem for our country. It could be anybody. Pademba Road Prison would have been your family member in there for the wrong reasons and gets killed. So that's why I will not forgive anybody who participates Pandandi. Mr. Macaulay, you don't hear the story there? You don't report so much, you don't see so much.
You see, when Yusuf the talk, I'm glad we bring up the issue of the memorial issues about remembering people who don't die, including the issue of the present leadership. Because if Namibia talk, then go say now politics at the talk. So I'm glad the way Mr. Yusuf they remind Sierra Leoneans them that the souls of the dead are still angry with Sierra Leone. You know, with regards to the incidents, them plenty. But God willing, the book will come out 2022. But the incidents, them plenty. And one way, I'm not going to talk about the one at the mosque, but the old man don't hear about it. One way, even makes me when they talk to you, so I could have been another victim as well. Was a day when me, I don't know if you know Pasco Temple. Me, Pasco Temple, Crystal Johnson of blessed memory, with we driver Kaba, we drive the go-up line. Deserted Waterloo, from Waterloo, come 4 miles, 6 miles. Before we reach 6 miles, we made the road block. The rebel and then at the checkpoint. And me and Kabari at the front, Crystal Johnson and Pasco Temple at the back. I mention this because you talk of that man who is it possibly the one up cutting now the big. Yeah. Because this young boy they can't talk about so now. Give and take, maybe go there in late 30s now. The Wiriwahuna saloon or somewhere, or probably dead. He get the gun, so the gun empire. He come to me and say, I'm sitting at the front. He said, Me no look like anybody, but I just say we go up the road, we go check when a journalist them. The gun cock. He turn him back, he go back to the checkpoint. He talk. He turn, he come back. He say, Uda allow for copia. We say when a journalist, we want go just look what in the app, we want report about the war. He turn him back, he go back. Where he come back now, he don't cock the gun. Then Crystal Johnson, blessed memory, God bless his soul, touched me on my shoulder. He said, left and give me. As they approach, then Crystal Johnson put his head in the door. Colonel, how are you, sir? This Bobo was not even 15 years old. Now it left me and I came to Crystal Johnson. He said, so the party to God for killing all because this is why they phone to just fit their way. They don't get instruction for can't kill. Yes. Like that. Waste. If we don't even get one person we're matured enough to deal with the situation. So you can just imagine how many people go through that process when they just kill and eat.
Yeah.
Imagine you then go estate. That party died 2 years ago. When they read what is left that church, they mentioned it. They may face alive with the lie, oh, report that incident. The rebellion go now in village estates. I should say that. Then count the pig them, then the piggets, then count 10 big pig them, then the small one, the pigget, the 1, 2 left there. 12. Then tell the passe, then they go free tongue, make nothing happen to that pig, then the way they don't take over free tongue, then they come back for their pig. Obviously, when they were involved in battle for Freetown, so it took some days. People, it's not day that the area. Now the small bobo turn to the power. He said, we get 10 big ones there. He said, then 2 small ones in there. If we kill them, when the rebel then come back, they no go notice. And this, then 12 pigs here are the pagatable. And the papa put here in a head. He said, Lord of mercy, people property. Yes. Fortunately, they never came back, obviously, because the battle took place. But 2 years ago, when the pa died, they mentioned that at the church now. So imagine, say, they be able to take over Freetown, then come back.
Yeah. And they did. Not so like I say, they're not for being come back, they're for come back.
Oh,
a lot of people.
Yes. Imagine inside a mosque.
Yeah.
You know that story there? Where them go, the old people inside the mosque. Quietly, they say, that's a big prayer now, pass all man. Nobody, no great answer. They say we could begin killing on 1-1 if nobody answer. They say we go free talk. Who does a big prayer now? Nobody no great answer. Now one small about point, he say, look, the imam nice a big prayer. The imam say, no, that kakara, what? Excuse me, French. Imagine inside mosque. Imam, like Peter denying Christ. The terror. So all them people in there, as Yusuf the talk, we are a traumatized nation. And it's sad and unfortunate that some of we don't come up with suggestions, including this term Mr. Yusuf talks. The few years when we go back to the salon and ask for a memorial. The last time I did press for that was when this woman was Minister Esther Kabia. Towards the end of the Ernest Kumar regime, when she became Social Welfare Minister. When they recognized the January 6th, commemoration of the January 6th.
Yeah.
We suggested that. And as Yusuf rightly said, Poppy they would come out and match us alone. All over the world. But rightly, up to this day, we not get one thing for remember any part of the war, including January 6th.
Right.
January 6th what happened in America, Give them 1 or 2 years, you go see what in January 6th could be in America. So you ask yourself this question. Why is it that we are only concerned as a country about APCS, APPNGC? And it's not about Sierra Leone.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you talk, somebody says, I got the way somebody at the group don't answer. He say, "Oh, you could turn in political lens. You don't biases. You don't." We don't want to hear the truth. You should not say the truth. The moment you say the truth, you are being political. How you go there? Pardon by what prison? This day of our Lord, then they go broke prison. Then the person will shoot and kill. Then bring a kind of show in the public, say this man are ill.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk now, they say politics you talk. In Sierra Leone.
They kill other people and picking them, their family, brother, husband or wife, or
and what's the way forward?
Yeah.
You know, knowing that, I mean, I've not been watching none of the comments at all on the Facebook at all, but I'm just listening to you attentively to what you're going through. And I'm glad you asked this question, what's the way forward? And I guess many people who probably are watching this are probably asking the same question. Well, what's the way forward? How do we get out of this? You know, I think it's a very difficult question to answer, Mr. Jukutu. Very, very difficult question for Sierra Leoneans to answer. I think the first thing for me is probably what we're talking about. It's about facing what we've done. Because I think that the TRC Commission, for as much as it went as far as it did to stipulate everything that were the primary causes of the war, up till now, we not implement these things. And importantly, we implement these things. You know, whether it is unemployment, of course, justice, which is a major issue. These have to be addressed. But how do you address these things with a people who, for the large part, are ignorant, politically ignorant? How do you address this matter? You know, I've got some young people who sometimes argue with me, even when it comes to things like education.
Mm.
Now, I've traveled around the world, and I've lectured in places that, you know, Sierra Leone is a way behind to even get those kind of places. And I've seen the competitors' own setup. You see, I've seen how they've set up. So if it's a stadium where we're supposed to go and compete, where we are Sierra Leoneans, the nation of Sierra Leone, many of us don't even know where the stadium is. This is a reality. We don't know where the stadium is to go and compete. Because when at least we know where the stadium is, we know what to look for. We begin to find the path to get there. But where we have a governance system that is not transparent, totally unaccountable, and then we have systems like the anti-corruption system that is supposed to be fighting, but is still mumu right now, and they come with all justifications. There are serious issues here. Are we really serious to solve this? But we need to solve these problems. We need to. We have to. Otherwise, you know, if I may quote Emerson, he says, the big one then come before, then talk, say, is alone. So we also will come and will go, is alone. Is this really what we want? You know, we say we want investors in our country. So we got to ask ourselves, then what kind of Sierra Leone do we want investors to come to? You know, a young man asked me the other day and says, you know, why don't you put something good news on Sierra Leone, write something good about Sierra Leone? You know, why every time you're putting negative things on Sierra Leone? So I said, please give me the good news.
What is good to write? Look at Susan's Bay.
So, because we have to solve this. We cannot sit down and think we can gloss over it and leapfrog. We think, well, we have the latest computer systems and we come with all the jargons. This is not the time for jargons where you all sleep and fire, they go chase a ratter. Yeah. The house of Sierra Leone is on an inferno on many levels. And we have to be honest to say it is in an inferno, that they will sleep and fire. That is the number one thing of Sierra Leoneans we have to do in order to start tackling this. Honesty. We have to be honest to the situation, not the pie in the sky dream.
No.
You understand? Because people come with the pie in the sky. Well, when we're talking of free education, free quality education, as they call it, that's a pie in the sky. And we have to face the reality of where it's at. So what do we put in place for these kind of things? For me, honesty. 2, of course, we've got to look at our justice system. We got to be able to have a nation where we can address the issues properly from bottom up, not from top bottom, bottom up. It's like a general consultation in the whole country. What thing we want for we country back? Let's put that question out to people there, all over the whole place. It might take a year, 2 years to do it, but maybe it is worth doing it, because then we begin to think as a nation. We know they think as a nation, and we have to think as a nation. We might look at Rwanda, but look at them. They are telling you it's not about Hutu, Tutsis anymore. Rwandese.
I was going to ask what
in fact,
from them.
In fact, let me tell you the first thing. I was there for 18 months. In fact, the first thing, it is illegal to talk about war in Rwanda. It is illegal. It's a criminal offense. You go to jail if you talk about war in Rwanda.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, honestly, when I can look back, it is going to take us a long time to get to where Rwanda even started. Mr. Yusuf said something, and I've been saying that every time I've had the privilege to be on social media, on television, on the radio. Honesty and the level of hypocrisy of the average Sierra Leonean is not high, it is toxic. It is not, as I said earlier on, it is not about Sierra Leone. It is about me party under the lead. That is the first thing that we need to get rid of. We have to be honest with ourselves to see it's about time when we talk about Sierra Leone, we talk about Sierra Leone in wholesome. We don't talk about Sierra Leone if na SLPP, if na APC. That is the first honesty. And when things are wrong, we cannot get rid of that, the APC SLPP issue. But we have to be honest with ourselves. When things are wrong, we come out with it and say, yes, it is wrong. Rather than say, oh, APC be that this APC do, oh, SLPP be that this SLPP do. That is the first step. When you get leaders there, begin hearing, people then begin talk, say, no, I wait here, pursue wrong. Mommy, wait till you do so bad. Regardless of whether you will lose your job or not, then we will start going somewhere. But if you get from, go ahead, you ask something.
And I just want to say, like you all stated, and the issue of honesty.
Honesty and this hypocrisy should.
Yeah, well, the hypocrisy will only stop if you're able to adopt the things of honesty. And I always say again, I'm not limiting it, but if you not get the leaders them, like how we presidents can say, the wherewithal, in favorite line, Mr. President, and the borrower from you. If you not get the leaders them, we get the wherewithal and the honesty and the patriotism in them, we not go able for do like Rwanda. Rwanda lost over 1 million people within a short space of time.
Yep.
They realized the president where they get it today was an actor in that particular war.
Yes. Born in Uganda.
He transformed. You get a lot of the victims them serve now government and parliament, because most of the Rwanda gets more woman politicians than the parliament and government, because they've been killed but couldn't man them. So then come in, they're ready for push their country go before. So if Rwanda can do them, we can do them. Winston, over to you.
Talking about women.
Yeah.
The other day, there was a discussion about a woman candidate for leadership in Sierra Leone. As of now, we only get the Mami Cole.
Yes. Femi Cole.
Femi Cole. Before that, we can get Jeridine, and then Zainab Bangura. The entire political class of Sierra Leone, they not encourage the women them to come forward. The few women that will get power, not they encourage other women them to come forward. So what we have, we not get, as we speak, we not get any formidable woman where you go look and say, this person will be a contender for do something better in Sierra Leone, because they all afraid, as Tambab in the talk, the same process of traumatized. So we not get, in my hearts of heart, when you look the entire political class, from all the political parties, we don't get any transformational leader person now where you go look, say, this person, then they can't transform Sierra Leone. No. You look at the history of Singapore. It took somebody with guts, with transformational skills, no sentiment. It transformed Singapore. Vietnam, it's the same. Namibia, it's the same. Botswana was going down that road until this thing don't begin to happen now. You understand? Kenya. No man ways. Kenya has the largest refugee camp in the world.
Yep.
For go Kenya make you see. You go still see the, but you see transformation. Ghana. Kenya the other month, the president gave orders for me to book hotel that was not built with the right regulations. That never go happen in Sierra Leone. No. Because
we have people in government who want to go build inside the beach, inside the Watana Lumley beach right now.
Right. Yes.
So, like you say,
when you get people, when we have a situation where we as people, we are not ready to embrace honesty and say, no, this is what instead of now waiting me go get. Listen, the other day that man the talks I not say him ask me and get almost bag grace and water. Him will go book fields. You know, say, let we try for improve the education or the clinic, or if you talk about transportation, he said no, me and get a bag grace a machine for water. No, so that is the level they take Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
So the way forward is a challenge.
Right. Okay. Mr. Jallo, I know say we did look at the way forward, but there's a group, a demographic where I know one for let we forget. We talk about this trauma and everything, and we've seen things. The people who left Sierra Leone or who were forced to flee Sierra Leone for other places. Some managed make them na the West. Some are still stranded in other countries and cannot go back because they don't know decide for go. Because waiting me prompt me, I saw a young guy here, Nicholas, we say he had to, the country where you know as home, now the Gambia.
Gambia and Coventry.
Gambia, then later it came Coventry in the United Kingdom. We have so many of those who are in Guinea today and other parts of the world. And some of we go Guinea during the war, we saw things. And people suffer. Imagine you run away, come out from war, you go other side and go face other abuse them. That was the reality for so many people. And again, we keep emphasizing some of these people who are now diasporans, who went back, who are now serving. Is it because of the same trauma, or possibly some of them not being get any clue? Because some people, how you run away, come out, now in village, you go other side, then possibly now you don't get an opportunity, you don't go back for go serve. Is it possibly that's what's responsible for the unpatriotic tendencies or actions?
No, Juma, there's a bit of greed. Now,
Okay.
Mr. Yusuf. There's an element of greed and big eye.
Okay.
You understand? And that's another aspect where we also need to address as a country.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you follow up with your programs with China
Mm-hmm.
in recent weeks, it figures the way they see, and the only defense some people can come out with.
Who's China? You have to clarify where they talk. China is
the China bar of the African Express,
Okay.
and the famous China bar of the African Press. And the only argument educated people can come up with is for say, now we begin look at waiting for my first lady them is spent. You begin to ask yourself, say, what is wrong with us? What is until you say this is what is happening in your country? We make you not get proper water, you not get proper light. This is what is happening. These people promise that they are coming to fight this. These are the same people that say, okay, now we assume say the first day we go, but they may not do it, so they can. Then you as an educated person, with all the education you get, the only argument you can come up with is that we go get for look at the other first lady there you spending for what it. You begin to ask yourself, what is wrong with Sierra Leone? And you talk about our home. Me, when they talk to you, so I had packed, and the only wish and hope I mean get was every now and then I go come visit England and do. That's it. We lost election, Nasalu. I cannot function. I cannot quietly put my head down, go about my business. No, I cannot. They will not look at you. They will not give you any business. Let alone, I've never applied for a job in Sierra Leone in all my years. The only time I apply for where they actually go through the post of job. Now, Banda Thomas, former information minister, called me for go work with late Steve Roy in Sierra Leone Daily Mail. Otherwise, I've always been my own man. So, but imagine say I was there by now. So I was forced to come back. So we're not allowed to function in our own society. But those who don't say, well, no, if I have a choice, if you left me, you win election, fine, you win election, okay, Papa, go run your government. Let me make me go.
So they say now the greed and big eye.
Greed and big eye.
Okay.
Then you have, of course, the people the way they, as I say, go argue and fight for them. The one will be getting greedy. Because that person, they self, the members say, me self get forget me own small thing.
All right.
So this idea of the way forward, Yusuf, hey!
Yusuf, glad to answer you back. I want to touch on this diaspora business and the, in line with patriotism, because you can only be patriotic to something that you treasure, you like, and you're passionate about. And if you don't get anything for lose, Would you value that? Would you value Sierra Leone if you do not count yourself as a Sierra Leonean in the first place?
What a fantastic question. Really good question when you're talking of patriotism, you're talking of value. And first of all, let me just thank all the people who are watching, who are still listening to us, over 2 hours on, and people are still engaged in, because this is a very important subject and it touches many, many people. I want to thank all the ones that really share everything, and those who are also commenting, just for thanking us very much that we're with you. Now, as a storyteller, there's a phrase I always say, that the success or failure of every person, nation, country is entirely dependent on the narrative, if you like, the story, where you conceive, where you believe, where the one where you don't see, where you don't imagine and you aid, the one where you don't, the one where you don't believe, the one where you accept, and the one where you eventually act upon. So we get for ask ourselves, whose kind story where they don't tell we before about Sierra Leone, either by what they don't teach we, by what we don't see, and what we don't learn. All this, they make up this story what they learn about Sierra Leone. And all of these can shape we level of patriotism. It is shaped whether we want to go back to Sierra Leone for those who are in the diaspora, or whether the one they within Sierra Leone actually just want to get out of the country for go out. We get to ask this question. So what are these stories? We just don't share one of the major stories, which is the story of the war. But now one of the major stories. So today, if you talk to a lot of young people, they will tell you plain, I don't want to be in Sierra Leone, the war and the trauma and all this stuff. Others will tell you what's not there. Others will tell you, say, jobs not there. Others will tell you many things. I mean, Limco Queen, right? There are many, many students that were at Limco Queen, for example, studying. My cousin was one of them. All of a sudden, many, many hundreds of them, possibly, I don't know, possibly thousands, I don't know, really. I don't know the exact figure.
Flashed.
Right. All of them are now just left hanging. My cousin, I had to send him up country now. He's working on a farm. I'm not complaining about farming, because I think we should go to farming. We have to go back to farming to feed ourselves. Now, we don't begin for grow rice. We don't plant kolatik. We don't plant a lot of different farming stuff. But I have been there to guide him. You understand? And we're looking to start fish farming as well. But that's because I've been there to guide him. We figure out ways how we can sponsor so that he goes and does the work. How about many of the young people who do not have this kind of opportunity? What would they think about patriotism? Now, I had an event happening at the British Council. Suddenly, this guy popped in. Say, hey, we're not going to stop this event because we got some big man then where they come, then they get dinner party, then get, this was like during Christmas time, they get a Christmas dinner, we're not going to stop. Now, we hired the place. We paid for the place. I was there with young people and we were doing a National Storytelling Festival. Now, we're there talking about academics. We're talking about something to build these young people. This guy come in, says, we get for stop, goes in, puts the microphone off. I put it back on. And he's like, I'm saying, what's the matter with you? We're doing our event. I even went and said to him, okay, you know what? He said, this big man, they got no problem. When we don't finish, all the young man there, so make able for organize them, for make them clean the hall, set the place up for we people where they come afterwards. This guy Tower said nothing. Now, at the end of it, what in time end up for happened? We had to cut our show. I even cut my whole program, for him, so that I can accommodate these people. Yet then come, because then are lawyers them, then can't bing. One of my young man, when they head the organization, he takes the job because the one part the guy was saying I've been chief justice at the time. Suddenly come, take the microphone from me, begin for order all man, get out, all man, everybody gonna collect this place. And we were trying to help to clean the place. Oh, take one of my young man and come, grab the microphone from and shout at them before Alapana for say, what's the right fit to say you be? Then one of the same guys turn around and say, look how they left, look how the place where the place is like a pigs them there. Now I tell and say, well, sometimes the one the way they lead there, when they papa and mother way they lead there, they say a pig. Now I make them say they behave like pigs. How do you talk of patriotism to these young people? And what we were doing there at the British Council was teaching the young people about patriotism. The organization is called Patriotic Advocacy Network. And today, as I'm talking to you, we have over 2,000 membership of young people in schools in Prince of Wales, Grammar School, in Kenema, in Bow, in Makeni. We have chapters in schools all over the country right now. We have chapters in close to about 90 schools. And we are going to these young people. We are teaching them about patriotism. We do National Storytelling Festival where they learn to come and compete on issues, on tribalism, issues on my life, my land, my culture, issues on my environment and me. I'm doing this. Today, this morning, I had a meeting with the young man who's leading the whole team. It's all young people, you know. 24 is about the oldest. All young people. Some at Tribal College, most of them are in secondary school. We just had our meeting today, planning what we're going to do now, the series of talks that we're going to do between now right through to December. These are, what I'm saying is that there are young people in Sierra Leone that we can tailor, that we can guide. Elders must be like rich fertilizer for the young to grow. But today, we tend to have elders who are like poison for the young to grow. So these young people are looking around. Who can we look at? Those of us in the diaspora, we are looking, who can we look at? And I'm afraid to say it's hard. It's like Aikweyama says in the book, The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born, when he talked about and described this character called the man. He says, this man who is so honest and so passive, he is like a lone star in a very dark sky. However, for Sierra Leone, I don't believe, maybe I'm just naive, okay? But I believe that there are many good people in Sierra Leone who want to do the right thing. Ignorance is a big problem. I can deal with illiteracy, but ignorance, my God, and peppered, seasoned with arrogance, that's a dangerous, dangerous recipe. That's what we have. So patriotism must come with humility. Let's take our national anthem. High we exalt thee, realm of the free. My God, I want to challenge all of you who are watching here, who are listening to this program. Go and read the Sierra Leone national anthem, and you will bless Aka that wrote this national anthem. Every day you'll bless him. What a national anthem we have. Just read it, and you will be triggered to be patriotic to our nation.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I just want to give one example. You know, I went to the place where the national dance troupe used to be.
Mm-hmm. Aberdeen.
At Aberdeen. When you want to know the destruction of a nation, it starts with the very culture itself. When the regime comes in, when Madabio came in and suddenly banned all these masquerades from coming out, I thought we're in for trouble. I protested, and people said, oh, no worry, Bo. Now just for short term no more, they come back again. I said, hey, now wahala don't begin so. What's the significance of that? The significance of these and of the national dance troupe. That's our root. You cut that root, they down. You can water the leaves all you like. If you do not water the roots, the plant will die. So when I went to the national dance troupe and I saw John Aka's office, how dilapidated it was, I said, all these years, we have not developed this place. I looked at the people who are playing our culture, and I see how everything is, as I may use the word, Nankashi. And I remember somebody said to me, oh, don't worry, we're breaking it all down so that we're going to build a nice place there. I said, really? I said, okay, no, wait and see. What is at the place now? What's there is a whole shopping mall that we don't even bother to go into shop into. It does not make sense. That's again the pie in the sky idea. Let us imagine, I want Sierra Leoneans who are watching this, imagine that at Lumley, Aberdeen, that place was put, we say to the Chinese, una want we resource? All right, una can put some fantastic building for we now. So this building should contain a place to teach people our Balanji, all our siramangs, our djembes, the dances. So we have a dance floor, we have a theater floor, we have a place for recording, sound recordings. Then we have places now where when tourists come, because they're talking tourism, when these people come, we can go there to teach our children dance. Tourists can go there to learn our dances. Behind me is this Bondo mask. Why do I put it there? There is while we're throwing it away, there is a specific Facebook group called the Sunday Mask. Think about it, the Sunday Mask. In this Facebook group, every person there is white, is non-Sierra Leonean. Apart from 3 people that I noticed who were black, there were 2 of them American and then me. I was introduced to the site by an Italian guy who defended me on the issue of the Bondo mask. Just recently, somebody on the page, because what the page is a collector's page. They are collecting only Bondo masks. And they put it there. The guy took his on and put it, says he's putting it up for sale. Because hard times during the coronavirus, he's putting up the Bondo mask for sale. Now, you think about how much he's going to get for that Bondo mask. But not only that, these people are using our culture to gain as collateral to get loans from the banks, because these things are worth thousands of pounds. What are we doing? We are throwing it away. We need to get to this if we're talking of patriotism to our country. I saw National Dance Troupe as a child. How many children know anything about National Dance Troupe? Until we get to this route, we're going to find out, because what is it we're going to really defend as Sierra Leoneans? What is it? We have to have something that we say we will defend, like Baibure stood up and said, I will defend my people. What is it we have in Sierra Leone that we say we are defending? What is it? If even it is Lumley Beach, let us say for Lumley Beach, anybody who mess about will fight. But what is it? What is the common value? For Baibure, he fought for his family. He fought for the family of Sierra Leone. Going back to that, he fought. What did we fight for? Today, our present regime, what is it? What's the value? What's the common value that we have in Sierra Leone that we go say, this is what makes Sierra Leone super, and we'll all rally around this? What is it? This has to be answered.
What is it? That's the big question. And thank you so much, Yusuf. You bring different things for let people think beyond their nose, like how they can say. And very important, but waiting me learn and waiting I believe in, sadly, you cannot give what you don't have. You cannot give what you don't have.
It's
simple. If you're not born with patriotism, loyalty, honesty, and your track record has shown that, how would you be that role model? How would you value that? How would you even recognize it when you see it? Like you say, you were in a hall, young people, someone who's supposed to be a role model, a professional that we can turn to when all else fails. The justice system, the people that we supposed for protect, go jog Mike. This is an open place, yeah? With young people. Possibly some of those young people are aspiring lawyers.
Well, we have 2 who are qualified to as lawyers now.
Let me tell you a story here, a simple one. And my dad never went to school. I'm bread and butter himself, but he valued education. He wanted me to have the best education, but education with morals. I told him I wanted to be a lawyer. He said, if me be lawyer, I go swear me. And you know why? He say lawyer na haramu people them. Then they sit down, then turn people right to wrong, then turn wrong to right. And I know I'll let you go hell. You go look at them, say, oh, possibly because he no go school. But when you see what's happening now, you might not fault him to think that way. Because he may not lost faith in the system. They don't see people away in jail unnecessarily. I'm not saying all lawyers are bad, but I just make example for say you cannot give what you don't have. Mr. Macaulay, I'll let you, with that, give you comments and rounding up statements, then I'll go to T-Boy as well.
The idea of the group where Yusuf, the sponsor, the help us alone, is one that is practically done for over how many years now in Norway? Well, in the beginning, from 5 years, from nursery to kindergarten, about corruption, about patriotism, about nationalism, and about love for your country. Norway. It is part of the curriculum at the school. It is a fantastic idea, but like you rightly say, you cannot give what you don't have. And you see, the same thing happened with Cathedral Primary School. Where me ready to talk to you, and me responsible for where they broke up. Why they could go down that?
We get a old voice, and we plenty as
no. Why make
big?
What? No, wait. Why make we go down that route?
Go ahead.
Cathedral Primary School, one of the oldest primary schools in Sierra Leone, will produce some of the finest lawyers, doctors, including the young man we talked just now there. They left that school to be dilapidated to a point where when rain season comes, you can already go to school.
Yeah.
They were, it was like a river. It became unsafe for me picking and go to school. Teachers already go to school. Till the building begin collapse. This is a structure that was owned by the diocese of Cathedral Church and whatnot. The school was completely neglected. Then when a project came up, which is a Sierra Grounds project, which they abandoned again, Cathedral Primary School had to go. Now, when they say Cathedral Primary School, they go, that the term all man begin talk, say, na Cathedral Primary School, I go. Now, ask one big man, George, High Court George. I said, my Lord, which then last you go Cathedral School, you just pass this out. So then you see the state of Cathedral School. He could not answer me. So it comes back to the dance troupe place now again, where we just look at post office. Look at post office in the main town. Post office is abandoned.
Right opposite the Bank of Sierra Leone.
Yes, it's abandoned. I remember not too long ago, Donald Macaulay, late now, the former judge. One day, people called me out of the blues. Me don't even know if say that party once in a while before he died. He can't walk, then he come out, he walk around Freetown, they watch, they look at things. I said, no, one day, this was before he died, 2014, 2015, I think. I said, you go to Macaulay? I said, yes, sir. He said, can you see me in my office? I go down my office now, Wilberforce Street. Now, yes, Wilberforce Street. I go up. People was in tears. about the post office. He said, do you know the history of the post office?
The sentiments.
Yes. It's abandoned. It's empty, it's a shell now. You know, so these are some of the things in way, as Yusuf talked, where the generation where they come up now, we get to find a way to get to them.
Yeah.
It's a must. We have to find a way to get to them. And I think we within the diaspora, we get a responsibility to see how we were able to get to the younger one, them, I would say from 25 downwards. We must find a way. Leave politics out of it. Come with patriotism. In fact, talking of the national anthem, how many of us can really quote the national anthem, the first verse, or the national pledge? Not many of us. Not many of us. Okay, it is not something that is mandatory. But as Yusuf said, it is something, if you know them word by word, and you have Sierra Leone at heart, that's something you go touch you like way they pray.
Yeah.
So, my last word is...
For today.
For today, those of us who can, let us help Yusuf to reach the young one name from 25 going down. Then we see if we were able to try to begin to get their way of thinking. Because from 30 upwards, we're lost, we're finished, we're traumatized, we're lost, we are angry, we are bitter. Most of them want to be minister. The funny thing before I go is, Sierra Leone is the only country I know in Africa where man they come na diaspora, he can learn, he study. He not remember for go invest as a Ghanaian or Nigerians to do. All he or she is thinking of, where the government can I'll go be minister. Sierra Leone is the only country. You know, when I went to Sierra Leone 2011, I did public journalism business. And now, just circumstances make it. At the end, I got involved in politics. But for 11, 12, 13, 14, I was actively a private businessman doing my thing. We know sabi that. We know sabi say for take. For go do. Now, politics. For every 10 Sierra Leonean, that's the other thing for change back. We're in the diaspora. For every 10 of us, let's 7, 8 of us begin think, say, no, now go do something other than politics in Sierra Leone. It will change the situation. But if 7, 8 of us all remember, that me party win, I go be minister, I go be ambassador, I go be director. We don't have a future. That's my last word.
All right. Thank you so much. Big one we left with. T-Boy, over to you.
Yeah, just you want to come back to me, or that just give me your last word and T-Boy can come in?
Well, I want to come back to you, but anyway.
All right, okay, all right.
No, I can wait like Yusuf go. I can come after Yusuf.
Okay, all right. So Yusuf.
He's a wise man. We need to listen
Yusuf,
to him.
Thank you so much. You don't left with Boku for member, and also you don't share with me some sentimental stuff, which is good. And the good thing is we not forgive up. So, and you they should say you they walk the talk. You know, building, generations of patriotic Sierra Leoneans, is very important because some of us are here today talking or doing what we're doing because we had role models. We get people the way they look up to. Either, they embrace we or then just they show we the steps and we learn. Same go will begin mention them people and they by name. Sometimes people there is other people they look fake one, they know they take them serious. But for us, then now we role model, the way shape, we guide, we make with those how they today. So if you're there helping others, it may not be all of them that would be as patriotic as we want them to be, but even if now five we go multiply by 5 by 5 by 5 by 5 by 5. So there is hope. So over to you, sir, with your last advice and word for today's program.
Yeah, thank you so very much. And thank you so much, Mr. Ojukuto. I'm so happy to have met you and have listened to the wise words that you have that you've said. It's enriched me. To a large extent, it's given me hope as well. So for me, in terms of wrapping up, first, let me go to these young people that I've been working with. The organization is called Patriotic Advocacy Network. The young man who lead this organization is called Ansumana Keita. Now, I met Ansumana Keita years ago in Sierra Leone, but 2014, well, almost 5 years ago anyway. Kind of 5 years ago. Anyway, he approached me, asked me for me to give a talk na FBC for them. So I said to him, if I'm going to go there, number one, you must make sure that all the young people are there on time. I say, otherwise, I will not be giving a talk at your event at the Mary Kingsley Hall at FBC. So that was the only condition I gave to them. And then I went for the talk on that day. Believe me, those guys, bang, were there, started on time. So I said, okay, let's see if they were also then see us. Bing, bing, bing.
I like that.
So they started on time. I thought, okay, great. Then I watched them over the following year. Then what I did after I saw they did, I did a couple of other talks with them, everything on time. The young people were coming from the schools. So I said, okay, now let me give them an assignment. So I gave them the National Storytelling Festival to do. Because by then I already had Mambina Fest in Kamakwe, and I wanted to expand to Freetown. So I said, okay, National Storytelling Festival, let's bring the schools together, do storytelling. We put a theme for the schools to debate and argue, but they do storytelling in the national languages. They do storytelling in English as well and in Creole, but let's see what they do. So I had to teach them the skills of how you do a show, how you present everything. I taught them 1 year. Then they did it with me. Second year, I saw it, I taught them. Then by the third year, I left them. I came from England and I went to Sierra Leone and I saw what these young people had done. I didn't have to lift a finger. And that day, on that particular event, we had to do an international show. I brought international storytellers from India, another one from Scotland. I had to connect them via live. Those young people stood up to the challenge, sold tickets, promoted it, booked me at a conference hall and the rest. We've been running National Storytelling Festival 5 years now. I don't have to do anything anymore. I taught them how to run and put on a production. I can guarantee anybody who chooses to challenge me, you will not find a more trusting, hardworking, dedicated, and accountable young people.
And patriotic
young people. Now, let me tell you an incident as we extended to Bo and Kenema just this past month. We went to Bo and Kenema, specifically in Kenema.
Yusuf, 1 minute. Book me for December storytelling via Zoom. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so before you go December storytelling via Zoom, you guys are going to be doing storytelling here on Sierra Gem Media, Independence Storytelling Watchnet.
Oh my God.
So Jukutuna for begin put your story together. To put your story together and bring some of the guys them as well.
What is the theme?
Salon Independence Watchnet.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
We'll see.
So get ready. Continue.
Let me finish this story quickly because I know we got to go, but I think it's important I explain this story based on what Mr. Ojukutu said. You cannot give what you don't have. But also I want to show how we are changing the narrative. When we went to Kenema, we've done Bo. Bo was fantastic. And even in Bo, now the young people, they went and spoke to their parents. Guess what? They donated land for us to build an office in Bo. These are all young people, many of them just over 20 years old. Now, when we got to Kenema, the hall was jam-packed full. Then we started talking to the young people about patriotism and what's the right thing to do. The teachers went outside. They are sumu-sumuing. We sent a spy to go and stand to listen to what they're saying. They were conspiring to come and disrupt the meeting. They said, we are coming to teach the young people some sense. This is their word. Then they can't teach them picking their so says. Now, so we had to plot a strategy immediately. As soon as they came in, guess what we did? Mr. Lahai. Now, Mr. Lahai, one day you can talk to the Pekin there about the importance of what he be for like your country. We swept them off their feet. Now, then they came up with another thing to say, we have to give them money, pay their petrol, because they are now thinking we've been given lots of money, and they want this is their words. We want, we own. Now, we had, and I thank goodness for Ansumana Keita. Ansumana Keita stood his ground and told them, we're not going to give you anything of your own. We are here for this. And if you don't want to join us, no problem. But this is why we're here. We're not threatening whatever. But cut a long story short, these teachers are now becoming some of our strongest supporters. You see, because the threats they felt, they realized what we're doing was for their own good. Kenema is becoming one of the strongest places now. So what I'm saying is that we have a chance as Sierra Leoneans to transform the nation. We as elders now, there's only one thing we could do is make sacrifices now. And it's a tough thing for Sierra Leoneans to accept, sacrifice. Why? Because when we looked at what we've been on the day before, we've not seen anybody give any kind of gratitude and thanks for the sacrifices they've made. But whatever the case is, we've got to put ourselves in a position to help these young ones. For me, this is one of the things I'm doing. And of course, I'll invite anybody. And there's many people, Alaji Njai, who's Professor Alaji Njai at FBC. He's part of this team as well. Mr. Kebe, he's also another lecturer at FBC. He's also, so more and more people like this of credibility, they're all joining in. Because there is no choice. They're going to have to join these young people. We're going to have to. But all I can say is that these young people have just finished an amazing time, and now we're planning the next talk. And the next talk we're planning, series of talks, is simply called Fet for You Aid, Make You Food Cover.
Food cover. All buckets forget in bottom.
Right. That's the topic that we're going to be talking throughout the whole of the rainy season period to different schools. We're going to different young people, and we're going to give talks to them on that. What does it mean? Fet for You Aid, Make You Food Cover. Sierra Leoneans, to me, it's simple. What in you aid? Knowledge. Fet for knowledge. Gain knowledge. For make you foot cover, so that every walk where you the walk, where you the worker, because you know the road, you the save your foot. Your foot, like the common people. Go and learn so you come and invest in the grassroots, in the people that you are leading. Boy, this is so important. So, but that's the talk we're going to be doing. I'm going to be delivering it, expanding it in many different ways for our young people to understand what it means for the environment, what it means for, of course, the education, what it means for family. All of these things we're going to be talking about. So for me, my last word for me people them is, let we focus on the young one them. Let we go and invest in them. It is worth it.
All right. Thank you so much, Yusuf. We appreciate you as always. They disappoint, and we look forward to for joining you in them program and the way they do. But also, begin they get other they get for come join the watch nets. Remember the watch nets will go do na laka. So now in with they can continue now, so laka beach watch nets. Now they can do. Therefore light fire all T-boy get the wood, Femi get the kerosene, for light the fire, for get the watch net, it's gonna be storytelling, boo-boo. You can't tell story by 10 minutes self, Alex self will not understand. So now the power that of story, you tell we will listen, like how they watch the India movie them, when they watch the Filipino episode them, when I know they understand, when they follow. So you can't tell story by 10 minutes, Limba Mende, who will listen, who understand. So it's coming. And let me go to T-Boy. We don't hear everything, Yusuf say, and always the issue of patriotism. We don't talk, say, go give it, get. But if we not build the generation what we get now, they're not going to get waiting for Gituma Bambai, and we will still ask the question, what next for Sierra Leone? Is it worth it? We don't want to ask those questions. We want to change the narrative. Over to you, T-Boy.
Well, changing the narrative, it sounds as easy, like how they talk about number one for change the narrative, but it is not that easy. But what thing I would say, one good thing we don't emerge from the younger generation of Sierra Leone, talking about the 20 and 25-year-old, that the fact say, they're not to that generation we get for rely on that way they say bribe body. Because if you watch the bribe body age them, that the 35 and 40s, still the thing say, them bobo. Or then about
the senior youth man them.
Well, yeah, if you can call them so, senior youth man them. But not in a bad way, it's just the facts. Say the 35 and 30 and above, now then still they say where your body. But the good thing I say, the 20 to 25-year-old don't have that mindset, because if you watch the dynamics of Sierra Leone youth now as in 2025, they're all trying to be an entrepreneur in their own small ways, trying to build up their capacity of doing their own business, creating brand. Social media has made it a bit comfortable a little bit because they try for be creative. So we think like for say the value of the culture they die, but I think this generation they now that the millenniums they call them, but most of them get different priorities. And for Salon, the priorities where we own them get now the fact say they want to be creative entrepreneurs by creating their own products and selling it online and to their own people that wait sabi. The sad thing no more is the earning power of the average Salon man is limited. So basically, they will have to struggle a bit. But if they become very persevere in terms of creating that brand and making sure that they are consistent in what they are doing, I think it will work out well for them. So that's one good thing when we don't feel say they happen at Salon within the young generation of the 2025. But somebody they mentioned online say we need for come together with the diasporans and everything for build Salon. I think the diasporans, they don't get a lot of opportunities for change Salon, with the influence of the dynamics of voting that come up from the diaspora. I think within the past 20 years, in politics alone, they have given us plenty of opportunities, right up to date. Then still they give diasporans them plenty of opportunities. But I think those opportunities have fallen on the wrong hands because some people in the diaspora will feel say they cannot get involved in politics because it is politics, but failing to realize politics is a way of life. And that way of life where you belong to, if you don't put the right people coming out to say we want to do this, it means the wrong person now always go in that position in this. So basically, failing to participate means we are accepting people who doesn't need to be in certain positions to administrate those positions, even though they don't know. And then we sit back and complain, oh, they're rubbish, they're stupid, then just get degree. What are we doing? Right. Effectively to make that change. Not to just for say, what are we doing? We need to do this, we need to do that. Now forget involved. Salon, now we own. Not to nobody you own. Whether you're patriotic enough or not. For the fact that you have that memory at the back of your head to say you were born there. Then say, Usa you plant speaking in Nebul. Now they it belong. Like we not sit down with, like we picking the old born, go change salon.
T-Boy, quickly, sorry for a break here. I see they enjoy the program too much because they really play back the studio monitor sound just in case.
Really?
Yes. So go ahead, continue. I just want to bring that to you.
So basically, I think we got for really try for look at the dynamics of what thing we want for change. Yusufu is playing. It participates greatly in terms of bringing an awareness of we culture, not just to Sierra Leoneans, but also selling our culture to the diasporans. Because one thing we would fail to realize as Africans, are we proud enough to be Africans first? After that, are we proud enough to be Sierra Leoneans? After that, there is nothing wrong to be proud of your tribe. There is nothing wrong with that. So if you don't have any sense of belonging and knowing where you're from, originally, your roots, like I used to say, if you know what are the roots, the branches, they not go grow, not to magic. If you put water on the leaf, and you forget saying at the roots, you for put the water, it not going to happen. So let's go back to reality and realize, say, we came from here. Me na kono, me roots na kono. I wasn't even born there. But for the fact, say, I grew up with the nature of what my papa put as value, as me being a Kono man, I cannot change that. So whatever I do, anyhow way I think, tete, I not say me na Kono. That not for make me tribalistic for say, oh, I play me Kono card or play me other card. No, I have worked all my life with people that were not to Kono self in any way, shape, or form. And that not gets no sort of differences in how I administer what I believe in. So we got to begin look at we values. Before ever you become patriotic, you should have your own value of who you are, where you're from. We're going to interpret them because if you then get them too valued, then the patriotism is none of anything we go think about. Think about the typical Englishman. Typical Englishman, even where you go salon, it tell you say, I need my English breakfast.
Yeah.
You know why? You know why? Some Englishmen will travel all over the world. If they don't serve English breakfast in that particular hotel, it no go there.
And you can surprise where they say, I need me bread and butter.
Thank you.
Yeah? But you can surprise the boy. If I eat, I not eat me bread and butter. It's like I not eat. Because bread and butter are not part of my life. Eh? I value, I'm a treasure.
But again, when you say that, people don't understand. Because you, as a fuller, you don't talk and publicly say, you papa na bread and butter na isabi. That not take nothing away from in value when you install in you. So basically, if you are proud and have that value that made you who you are today, why would you be ashamed of yourself? Are you a bad product of bread and butter? Hell no. So we have to look at those values because those are the things that will make we become who we are. So patriotism, let me just forget about them slightly and think about the value of who you are and where you're from. That can be interpreted as to the value of what will make you become patriotic. So we mentioned, we're not talking about buildings of relics that are in Sierra Leone that have no value anymore, which will be of serious significance to even the diasporans or non-Sierra Leoneans. And imagine we have a particular section or ministry or department in Sierra Leone where they deal with relics. What are they doing? Then just sit down no more. Then they do what in they feel for do. One real particular building within a salon where now of importance to the one knows West Africa and possibly Africa. It don't maintain that particular statue there from the time in memorial right up to today when at the Maroon Church where they opposite electricity. It has always been the same. Clean, white, clean garden, environment clean, always neat from the outside. Now, magic.
No, because not church.
We got a church buildings them around. Cathedral is one. The building of the Diocese of Freetown.
No, but yes, the churches they maintain the churches.
No, the church is maintained, see boy, because like how Winston they say, then there's also I'm fortunate for bumping into a picture about Cathedral Church. La Cathedral, right? They're already by close to big markets.
Yeah, Cathedral Church.
Right. I see the old building, it's the same thing. How it used to look those years, that's what it look like today. The Portuguese Town Church is the same. The one at Campbell Street, Benjamin Lane. You know, it's the same thing. You not change at all. So when you go to York Church, New York, the church, how you did that?
Not so the building. Now the maintenance of the building I'm talking about.
Right.
Because T-Boy, we no respect we history and we no protect them. Look at the Frabe College building at Kleintown.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's the point I'm making.
Una don't go too far. Me, see, boy, the cry with me, the cry in my heart. Now the place right now we host the mayor's office. I they cry because I know the tell they go rehearse day where you go. That place there, now a monumental place where you go, you see the chains. You know, the tunnels where they lead to that government 12 color. But then they end up, they don't float them. Now you can't go there. When you go there, you they feel say these ancestors then go through here, so we not return. But we are paying a lot for go to Ghana, to Gorée Island in Senegal, for go watch the NCAA.
You make an hour like we talk about that because it's a whole history we say Agent Media embark on for the bicentenary, where we actually took our own journey. From all the way Sopit, if not so they call it, or Kojimi, right up to King Tom. So that not a journey will be easy.
And also mainland on Awakao.
Oh, possibly 80% of that route was tunnel.
Right.
And Femi Fred at some point, you said to me, "Yana married to go to UN Gengo."
How many people know outside the Reuters stone?
The Reuters stone at Kinjimi are physically clean the tank. We see yai to yai with the stone. Not just that, but we see the writings there where people then put there before they actually take them down to the river. You know
that's the question I'm asking.
You know the slave bath? So Namika said, no, we cannot talk about that. That's a different story. Because again, we did substantial research and documentary on that particular issue there, because to the extent that me and Femi volunteer with services, we ready for skip, we work them, skip with family, and tell the people that wake up with the Zong, we're supposed to be the Amistad, for go on a tour back to Sierra Leone, voluntarily. And when that boat they come London, River Thames, it was there for like a month. I guaranteed you there was not even a single Sierra Leonean. Would you talk about patriotism? Apart from Femi and myself. Femi wants to say something. I think I will leave it to Femi to complete.
All right. Well, thank you so much, T-Boy. The thing don't change, and this is not the beauty about when you look.
That's just the value of.
We don't talk about the challenging, the sad parts. The count Yusuf say we talk about them, but it's the happy ending. It shows say we still get hope. But I know say Femi want share your own story there with we, and then it go end up on a happy note as well. Over to you, Mr. Palmer.
Hello, Juma. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir.
Okay, great. So, So
sorry, before you begin, I just want to relay a message to Mr. Jallo. Somebody text me. He said, in wish right now, he go able for spend a whole evening, a whole day, a whole week, just for pick your brain on a lot of things. So I just want to relay that people appreciate you. I just received the text message. I will not name the name, but I just want you to know that you have fans out there as well. Over to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the reason I asked me and just not to say about and say something. I'm just want to tell T-Boy say, he said no Sierra Leonean was there. I was there. I witnessed the place is cold. So, I think I'll be around April 10, but for some strange reason, the kind cold breeze been a blow, all man wrap up. I mean, it was incredible that one of the guys that we preach say, now imagine Africans them we don't use for dinner 30 degrees, find themselves now boats in the middle of the Atlantic, heading towards north and north and east, so north and west. How cold them in the field. They're not getting close for way. So it was surreal. It was crazily cold. But anyway, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we shouldn't go far. I'm glad if now we don't come. I'm glad if we panelists them. I think they didn't do the program justice. I want to say a few things them. You know, where Mr. Ojuku today talk, you know, but we then shoot that man who used to put the geary in story but in daddy. You know, I sat here feeling very emotional. I was very I'm not gonna say I'll cry, but you know what I've been on begin get an eye. You know, I didn't witness the war firsthand like how T-Boy himself see. For me, I left Sierra Leone as a young teenager in the mid-80s. I've been to go holiday, and I remember I went on holiday in 87, I went in 89, and by 89 we don't begin to see trouble will be upline. So really and truly, the one to start 1991 as they say, will be on the year. That the point is, my next holiday, I've been here for cut and short because my parents and other people they worry say, then the year too many rumors about this year, so make you know problem no can catch you in a salon. But anyway, the war made Sierra Leoneans grow up really quickly. You know, I believe say some of the one in our tongue definitely grew up. We young man, the young woman then turn you know, mentally into adults them overnight. You know, and they not get the maturity yet, they not get the experiences, but they get for look after siblings because mama papa don't go, or they begin mama and papa business at an early age because of all the things that we don't talk about already. So they grew up very, very quickly. You know, me as a man living in London at the time, I grew up quickly because I remember the stories them from loved family members them, you know, trying to reach out to all of us who've been there abroad for say this stop me to with the common of the country, I will able help. You know, I was working in McDonald's. Juma, I was working in McDonald's. I was earning, I think, say £3.25 an hour, something like that. Yeah, and on top of that, I used to.
No, you are the rich man behind it. No, it was not me who telling officials them for kicking other people in Corona, the teammates in Corona. So now they're all Corona.
I think we're being hacked. Yeah. Anyway, so you know, and I used to do a paper round in the morning. Yeah, throughout school, even when I don't do school no more. Literally, all the after so for bring the lily pen and kind inside. As a young man, I've been getting needs. I've been want to buy the new trainers. You know, I've want to buy the, you know, I think it was Air Jordans and stuff like that. But I've not been getting the opportunity because my family and at home were in dire needs of the small money you have been make. So I remember sending money to some of the family in Guinea because they don't escape go Guinea, and I remember aiding for get them ticket money and then small money that we don't able use for make them come on at the camp them and find their way to Ghana because by that time my parents and me know relocate go to Ghana and they had a big house there, so we accommodated a lot of family members and non-family members. And you know, say free tongue now one small place. All man sabi all man. So we picking turn up like Ghana, where mama or papa sabi them, parents them, or not even sabi them, but somebody linked them. They stayed in our house in Ghana. But as I say, we grew up quickly because of that. I learned responsibility early because of waiting up in Sierra Leone. So I come on one place na Frito winning Central, Regent Road to be precise. We've been getting this mammy na Regent Road, did in Bodos. She's a lot older than my mom, so my mama don't sabi this woman from when my mama small. Myself I born, I meet this woman don't turn big woman. And during the rebel war, one other man, or Bobo at the time, but he was a leader na the rebel army. Then work na me for identify people they host them. They identify this host as, I don't know what they say, this mommy gets, then decided then they burn this host candle. The mommy, Juma, she could not walk. She could not walk, all mommy, it didn't like host. The boy so no to say na far away, but I no go name man so but na area man. He know this mommy, me know this mommy, me not spend enough time na Regent Road. In this bobo born men na Regent Road, say it's on a late teenager, say he go join the rebels. He identified that woman he was for one reason or another. He said them for burn the scandal. The rebel they light fire, but all we people they neighbor they all the common and they big. They not do nothing. Then burn that woman inside that will stay alive. You understand? When my cousin and they tell me their story, then they, I had to send everything I had for get them out of that situation there, because I don't know if now we don't those snakes and they go born. It's we didn't witness the war there, but the experience that we self get from this side of the world, especially we will not be able to do nothing at all for help, was crazy. We see a lot of them young people are so, from babies, from toddlers, they all done some big man and big woman. So you guys are talking about trauma. I can imagine our so-called adults in Sierra Leone now were children of the war. In one way or another, they experienced the war. Either they were there physically, or their parents were there and they grew up knowing some of the atrocities that the people can go through. It's some lesson where we for learn, for making not ever repeat itself, because there's no winners. No winners. I don't know who that then go tell me say win that war day. I don't care what anybody say. Me they tell you for a fact say there are no winners. Sierra Leoneans, we have suffered, we're still suffering, and possibly we go suffer for years to come because of the causes of the war. Not just the physical issues, but the mental, the psychological, the economic factor. When I mean, you talk about replacement and relocation of people for can and go back outside and come out. That is not possible no more. Freetown, I believe, it was made for only a few thousand people. Now we have millions of people living in Freetown. Then they alone, they allow the water companies them for able to deliver the right amount of water that's needed for the population. We not get electricity, all because of the NTSO. People can say all tell they blame governments, they blame governments, but governments are the biggest employers. They get the responsibility. We as citizens should try and aid what government does, but government need for take the lead for fix we country. Sometimes you have to do the hard thing. If it means say there's places up country that are available, sometimes we get for forcefully relocate people them, or give other people the chance for make them go invest in areas up country. For example, and say we declare that we're not able to go buy land there. So how can we relocate there, if we wanted to? So there's many issues them, as Yusuf will say, forfeits for your land, forfeits for your people there, your family. These are the things that really cause war. Many issues, and if we not take them, touch wood it won't be, but if we not take them, the road that we're going to, something bad might happen again. So me, I the ask, I the big for make, we look at what we're doing, we big we leaders them for moving different direction. A few years ago I met, she was a friend before, but I met her again, and it can't tell to me but a company or an organization with a Milk Rush. They did work for the amputees them, na saloon for the war. When he tell me the story of some of them, my memories came back. I remembered what happened and I lent my hand. And, you know, up to this day, I don't know, 15 years on, Faith is still trying to help the amputees. You talk about that woman we then put Tina here within a with something go day not street they gonna tell you motuka or go day by cotton tree. Every day we'll go free song. We see these people. There is no social welfare in Sierra Leone. And then people also, some of them are not disabled by, I go say, by God. They're not born that with it. They're not meet sick that with it. Yes, some have that. Some of them are by then comp immortal man. You know, we fight for some of them people also within our power now. It's highly important that we look after them people also. But it doesn't happen. Tibo talk about women the way they get raped. In London, in the early 2003, I think, I met this young lady in London. You know, we became very good friends. And she told me her story about Wiribele Kam. And they captured her as a young teenager. Because na fine picking. Then turn a one and then with them. And you know, waiting Tibo talk say, it was hard for her to go back. Eventually they run away and they got rescued. But you know, the amount of story, then the thing that way it tell me say happened to them. You know, initially I thought it can't be possible. It can't be possible. When I begin doing research, I can find out that there's 1,000 other girls, then we get similar stories. It's incredible that, you know, we can't get the outside this so right now. Because really and truly, sometimes we can't for being worse than it is. Because we have never dealt with the psychological and, you know, the trauma, all the issues. We not get doctored in Africa on a salon way before deal with them people also. So we have people walking around the streets in Freetown with serious problem them. And one day, things might just explode.
Nice.
So my last word is people are traumatized. You know, if I can feel this way here, and you said, Juma, the talks you were feeling very tearful earlier on. If we can feel this way now, imagine the people that we go through the Wala, then we meet them. How then they feel?
Well, thank you so much, Femi, and for remind people them again and take we back home. And like I say, and everybody else say, now we own. Now we get for make and change the narrative. Like a way Yusuf say, let we fight for we aid, let we foot cover, but this now in a positive way. People did that. And one thing I always they say about you where they in a position of trust. I keep emphasizing that. People go, oh, no, they talk only about politicians. No, I'm not talking about politicians. I'm talking about people where they in a position of trust, you know, at every level. If you neglect the people the way you need for bring come up, now they can't haunt you. Simple example, all the politicians or successful people where possibly come up country, they run away, they go there Christmas time, or where they want for go campaign for elections, or where the person die, or where person are married. Now the only time they go there. So waiting end up happen, people then begin come out, upline, and then they can't camp now in house. You get for cook one bag rest every day, and you don't get what you know civil servant, then they pay you. So you get for go thief the country money for can show up to them people and they for cook one bag rest for them every day for sure they say you know the kaiba, you know, now you know the only successful one. Then picking them come before you put them in school, you have for send them for go, you have to go send them for go sell kolwata, do it there, they have 15 there. The way they ready, where rebel them rich. Then can them point yours, then thief all what you get, then if you're not lucky, then they not kill you. They begin say they're bad. This is the same thing that's happening today. Your community, you the thief government money, or the money will be meant for the people, you the thief them, you build you mighty yours, you fence them, then you not even make the road, then all the other people around you that pan body then get. When them reach na net, when desperation reach, then they put some bag na fence, then jump over, then go and sopuna, then See, follow it soon, I get. You waiting at the diaspora, where they say no to your business. You not care about the people, your community. You they send for your family members and you want them live comfortable. They become targets. Now they're not the target because where everybody become desperate, now they're not the target. So you small ways until they keep now so for yourself. Where them go can send. I'm just saying all of this, let we know for say the problem now we all own. If we think say our government get the problem, let we talk. I'll accept the no allow talk. Let we talk. President Biogo Yeri or Igo Yeri or Igo Yeri by force. And he go do the right thing in the interest of Sierra Leone. President Biogo Yeri, he go vex, either he go sack him minister there or he tell them for let them do the right thing on behalf of the people of Sierra Leone. That makes you a patriotic Sierra Leonean. Not set him out until he go bad. When the waiting and can say where the S hits the fan, where it's scatter, then they pico, they go outside. So please, let we country, let we try for build with next generation and do right by with people them. Until next week. Next week with a one of the programs that what they do, it will be for Salon able for study the Tanzania model because they talk about patriotism and leadership. We see waiting the late president Mungufili able for do inside 5 years. He may not have changed the country, but he shaped the path. Is that possible in Sierra Leone? So that would be our topic next week. Until then, I say tata.
Now, who's term this? Yes, this not term for all Salon people and then party them. Sierra Leone Media will be bringing you a variety of programs ranging from documentaries to discussions, interviews, news, views, sports, and entertainment. Our programs will contain matters on development, governance, the economy, and issues that are of importance to Sierra Leone. So, no left BNO because we get Bebe program then like Salon discussion, meets the ministers, the president's hour and the Gladi program. Look me, I look you. All this they start soon na www.sierragemedia.org. Now who's term these? Somebody.
As we talk about burning issues ranging from politics to the economy, culture to sport, education to entertainment, corruption to the environment, we realize the Sierra Leone story is far from finished. So, Sierra Leone Media Production brings you Zoom In. Zooming In is the program that engages everyday people, entrepreneurs, inventors, entertainers, activists, policymakers, and politicians to discuss and debate issues relating to Sierra Leone. Zooming In digs deep into the issues and stories. Zooming In ensures the debate is pushed to another level. Zooming In asks those questions that has never been asked before. So, join me, host Chumaba.
was young, a lot of things were different. Unfortunately, most of the differences seen now are heartbreaking and are not good at all.
Before now, men were strong protectors of the weak, fathers, brothers, lovers, sons. Their mere presence guaranteed the safety of women and children.
But what do we do now?
Men harassing and raping women.
Men sexually abuse little girls.
Men battering and killing their wives.
Any form of sexual assault, be it rape, sexual abuse, or pedophilia, is a killer to human self-esteem.
Women should stop dying in silence. Speak now.
The rapist should be stigmatized, not the victim.
I think death sentence should be the consequence of such terrible acts.
And you mothers, build confidence in your children, put trust in them, listen to them when they make reports, and take necessary actions.
Talking of mothers before now, women were virtuous.
They were mothers, daughters, and sisters.
Nurturing, counseling, supporting their men folks.
But now, women are trafficking female children for money.
Women are forced to be silenced.
All this must stop, and it must stop now. Real men do not abuse, rape, or molest women and children.
It is barbaric, unacceptable.
Let all real men stand with us.
Together, let's say an emphatic no to rape, sexual abuse, pedophilia, and domestic violence.
Of all the crimes committed against a person, rape is the one that leaves the person feeling very violated. A rape victim is often left with the feeling that a part of them has been torn apart.
To use another person's body and ignore the soul that resides within is one of the most outstandingly shocking crimes that one person can commit against another.
Some men harass and rape their women.
Some men sexually abuse underage girls.
Some men beat and kill their wives.
Any form of sexual assault is unacceptable.
There must be consent before you act.
Being in a relationship is not consent.
If they are not sober, they can't consent.
Flirting is not a consent.
We had sex before is not consent.
Silence is not consent.
Only an informed, sober, freely given, ongoing, and enthusiastic yes is consent.
Women should stop dying in silence.
A man does not become a real man by physically dominating a woman. A man becomes a real man by loving, protecting, and respecting the woman.
Real men do not rape or abuse women and children.
Let all real men stand with us. And together, let's say no to child abuse, no to domestic violence, no to all forms of rape, being it spousal rape, intimate partner rape, child sex abuse, statutory rape, date rape, serial rape, and gang rape.
We must rise up against this ugly trend.
Justice for one, justice for all.
All sexual assault must stop, and it must stop now.
Oh, Kadiatu, my friend. She was the brightest at our level. Even though she was as innocent as the heaven, that did not stop Papa Abu at age 57 to ask for her hand in marriage as she turns 11. A parents, being naive about this rage, tolerated this marriage, and this destroyed the hopes and dreams of Kadiatu to live like it in Seattle. Instead, she's been used as a tool by an old school. Kadiatu is being used as a bait by her own mate. My friend has been emotionally tortured by this old culture. Old child marriage, it's on the rampage like disease, eating up the fabric of our girl-child image, and it's our duty to cage. Let's diverge. Please be obliged. It is now we emerge from this ancient custom at large.
If not for this dreadful event, Kadiatu could have become president, but now she has been trapped in an old man's residence, like a mosquito in a tent. She is vulnerable, but with her age, she is still able to become that virtuous woman of substance, like Madam Patricia Kaba, Madam Dr. Kadisise, Madam Sianyama Koroma, Madam Dr. Sylvia O'Blyden, Madam Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Oh yes, without child marriage, our girl child can still turn into Madam Hillary Clinton, Madam Theresa May. Be it as it may, Madam Condoleezza Rice, let's not be hypnotized, but rather stay wise, for this can only be realized if education is being prioritized and child marriage is being criticized. So please, parents, do not relent, as it is apparent that a girl child can become great if only you patiently wait.
I was raped multiple times by my aunt's boyfriend when I was 6.
I was repeatedly raped at the age of 8 by a close family member. I was raped at 19. I didn't speak openly about it because I was ashamed and afraid that people would judge me.
I was raped at age 5 by my caregiver's husband.
On June 17th, 2020, 5-year-old Khadija Sakho, a beautiful little girl from Freetown, Sierra Leone, was repeatedly raped and strangled to death, allegedly by her own cousin. Her death shocked the nation. But in truth, in this small West African country, 9 out of 10 girls experience some form of sexual violence in their lifetime. Think about that for a second. 9 out of 10. That's 90%. My name is Aisha Sase. I'm a journalist and activist. I'm joining forces with Idris Elba and other activists from across Sierra Leone to support the survivors of sexual violence with the Survivors Solidarity Fund. Please consider donating whatever you can afford. All monies raised will go to 4 local organizations currently providing free medical and legal services to survivors. 5-year-old Khadija lost her life to sexual violence. That same threat remains for millions of others. So this is also a call for you to use your voice, your power, to draw attention to an enduring culture of rape. Together, we must end it now. My name is Aisha Sase. I am Khadija Sakho.
I am Khadija Sakho.
I am Khadija Sakho. I am Khadija Sakho.
I am Khadija Sakho.
We are Khadija Sakho.
We are all Khadija Sakho.